Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Noof Nookums here, and Crapgamer. Hey, what's up? It's Xbox Nation. It is 8 p.m. on the dot. Actually, just moved past that dot a little bit, so check that. And we are back, and we are live. We're full strength this week. We got everybody here. There's a lot to talk about, so we're gonna get like 1 month or 1 week with the X. We're gonna get everybody's opinions on that. There's a studio teasing something big tomorrow that made Recore, so who knows? We're going to be talking about that. Yeah.
Hey now.
Right? Just the kind of games we want to get, right?
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I know when we're
The
thinking
Shannon
games.
Loftus collection. Yay.
Probably developed it herself. It's a mashup of Zoo Tycoon and Recore.
Yes, we're gonna get both those things. It's gonna be phenomenal. Yeah, you guys just watch. It's gonna be great. We also let me introduce the man, the myth. He can't win the rundown, but you know, a vote for him is a vote for Donnie D. Remember,
Hey, Donnie D carried you through those 9 years, folks. All right, listen. Good to be here tonight. So apparently 7 days late on my beating of Evil Within 2, but the feat was accomplished nonetheless. Great game. I think we're going to talk a little bit about that during the show. But yeah, no, excited to be here. A lot of stuff in the news, crap. Ready to get started, bro.
There's a lot of cool stuff, you know, and it's good to kind of get out there and talk about all this stuff. We've all had a week of the Xbox One X now, and you know, it's good to kind of break it down a bit for people that are wondering, because I'm still getting messages from people. What do you think of it? You know, is it worth it? Is it that big of a change? What do you think? But anyway, we got Dealer Gaming back this week. What's up, bro?
Is it worth it, crap? Is it?
Hell yeah, dude.
Of course it's worth
Hell yeah. Absolutely.
Anybody telling you it's not worth it, they're a crack baby. Don't listen to them. Especially if you're coming from the base Xbox to Xbox One S. Substantial difference. And then you look at the games, the 4K assets. Holy shit. So it's really
incredible.
good-looking console. Runs great, loads fast. I can't find a negative, guys.
Yeah, you know what? I was having a hard time finding the any kind of negatives either. I think it's great. And a lot of people were asking me, is it really a big difference from the S or whatever, or the base Xbox? I'm like, you know what? Some of these games look like last generation on those. You know what I mean? I don't mean to be an ass, but it's a big difference. You know,
remember, I've said this several times, right? Xbox guys have had a little bigger reason to upgrade than maybe the PS4 guys have, because you got like Battlefield 1 scaling down to 720p and multiplayer and all that stuff. With the X, if you're 1080p, don't listen to the people with the Pro, because you're going to see kind of similar results depending on the game. Like certain games don't have 4K assets on the Pro, but they do on the X. Those textures will come through at 1080p, but trust me, you're going to be at 1080p minimum every game. Even if you have a 1080p screen, the game is going to look substantially better.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And it does. Like, here's the thing. I started like Call of Duty World War II. I did the first map or whatever on the S, and I thought it looked good. The frame rate chugged along, man. I was like, damn. And then when I finished it up on the X, that thing was a thing of beauty, man. The 4K HDR stuff, and I made sure that I waited till I got the patch and everything before I even went back into that. Phenomenal looking game, absolutely incredible. I thought it was really, really good. So, and we got my bro Hell Hammer. What's up?
Not too much.
Oh my god,
Great! I love it.
I've been playing a lot of the X. That's pretty much it. I mean,
he's botting a little bit, but not too bad. And we had him check it too before we went live. So, hey, Spoonman, yes. What the hell? I'm not repeating that on air, but yes. Right. We got the man himself. No chills, no thrills. Noof Nukem. What's up, bro? Yeah.
Oh, hemorrhoids. Oh. Hey, I'm ready to go. It is friggin' Wednesday. We are, what, just over a week now since the Xbox One X came out. Lots of news still trickling down the pipeline. I'm ready to go. I know you guys are too, so let's get right the frig into it.
Hell yeah, dude. Look, ready to rock. Dealer, what are your thoughts on it a week into it, man? I'm sure people want to know, like, what are you thinking, man? What's your thoughts?
Well, I went all in on this on RDX last night, but say it again, it's great. I mean, I'm of all the games that are out, I'm playing Rise of the Tomb Raider right now.
I saw that.
Right? I'm playing Rise of the Tomb Raider right now at 60 frames per second, and yeah, it drops in the hub world a little bit like the Pro, but it does have a more stable frame rate, I can tell, and it also has those 4K assets, and the game just looks great. I'm just blown away. It's like I get to have my cake and eat it too with that game, because I do get the 60 FPS the game handles, and it gives any open world action adventure game a run for its money. You guys know this. I'm very impressed with what I see. Wolfenstein, Call of Duty, Battlefront 2, all indicative of PC quality experiences. I'm playing on a 4K TV. And those games have been being run through the mill there, and they're getting settings boost. Call of Duty has more ambient occlusion and stuff on the X over the Pro, plus better resolution. You know, you're getting stuff for your money here, and this is just the beginning. So very impressed. And if they're not impressed with this, then I guess they're not impressed with PC gaming, because a lot of games look like a PC game to me.
Yeah. Yep. It looks phenomenal. And I was saying this earlier, and I've said this multiple times. The games that I'm playing, the ones that are 4K HDR, it's hard to go back to anything else after that. Like, I've just been kind of popping back and forth between the games that are actually achieving that on the X, and it's great. Like, that's the difference. You know, it's like a lot of people are like, well, HDR is the real difference, and some people are like, well, 4K, and I'm like, nah. Why not both? You know what I mean? Like,
I'd rather have a bump to lighting or ambient occlusion or textures over HDR. In my opinion, I've gone back and forth between an 8,000, a medium end 4K TV, and yeah, it looks good, but man, I'd rather have more ambient occlusion. You know, PC gamers don't really complain about not having HDR too much. So I will say though that there are some people complaining about the lack of games out right now, and I'm thinking to myself, because there's like 90 patches, I think almost 100 already. Yeah, there are people out there complaining about this. I'm like, where were you when the Pro launched? It launched with like 40 games, 40 patches. And
a lot of those were older games too. They were older games, and people didn't seem to really say, because you got no games, so you're getting old games.
You know, I'm just confused, because these people use it as a reason why people should know there's only this many patches. And like, where were you when the Pro launched? Because it was literally half of this, and the patches were less substantial. So I don't know, whatever.
It's hard to say that they're like, I mean, like, oh, there's no games. Like, for me personally, like, games that have come out is like Call of Duty, Battlefront's about to release. We're going to get into that old drama in a little bit. You know, Forza 7, I had saved that. There were Super Lucky's Tales launched. Some people still had South Park, which I already beat that. Wolfenstein 2. Shadow of War, which I have both Wolfenstein 2 and Shadow of War right now that I haven't even started yet, as long with Assassin's Creed Origins. So there's a lot of games out right now. So anybody that's out there saying, hey, there's no games, they're full of shit.
After Supergate, you didn't boot up Shadow of War?
No, I haven't booted it up yet, but I do have everything installed.
If you want to see if you want to see these 4K assets that we've been talking about, you gotta boot that game up. You'll stare at, like I said before, you want to stare at a cape or a rock or a log or some shit for like 30 minutes, longer than you ever should. Then you should boot Shadow of War up, because you're gonna be blown.
You know, I might just.
I think Shadow of War and Assassin's Creed are definitely the showcases, which is why I'm actually waiting. Believe it or not, I'm waiting on those. Just this is a me problem. I beat Evil Within 2. Now I'm going on to Wolfenstein 2 for all you.
Yeah, there you go.
All you German gamers out there. But so, anyways, but yeah, no, that game looks fantastic, man. And I don't know, for some reason, I just, after playing Evil Within, and it's a much slower paced type of game. Much like kind of like Tomb Raider, you know what I mean? It's a lot of collectibles, findings, crafting while you're on the move. Resident Evil, basically, but nonetheless, I wanted something fast-paced in action, and wow, I'm going from Bethesda game to Bethesda game, which is I don't think it ever happened in my life. But this is amazing. So that I did actually kick on World War II today, and that was, I didn't expect it to look that good.
It looks great, doesn't it?
I didn't expect it to look
good. We absolutely have to give a shout out to the guys that could see the massive gulf between half a teraflop, 900p versus 1080p, and now they can't see the difference between 1440 and 4K.
Guys, we're gonna get together a fund so we can buy them glasses.
I mean, just think about this for a second though. 900p, you got about 1.4 million pixels. 1080p, just about 2. Now you're at 3.6 to over 8 million on average, and you can't see the difference now.
Yeah, it's insane to see, and the damage control is some of the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Don't forget, you guys are talking about the people that are on Twitter too, which that all doesn't matter. That's all nonsense. I'm shocked, right? It's ridiculous. But I'm talking about the people that were like the media, because there was, listen, Mitch Dyer and Ryan McCaffrey had a conversation on Podcast Unlocked years ago where they were like, well, Mitch, if I walk into the store and I got $60 in my pocket and I have a PS4 and I have an Xbox One, wouldn't I want to buy the better console, the better game for the better console, and get, even if it's 180p, it's still better. It's better for my money. Where are those conversations to any channel about the difference we're talking about now?
I used to hear that all the time. Why would you pay the same amount for a 900p Xbox game instead of a 1080p PS4 game? Now I ask you, Sony guys, why would you pay the same amount for a 14?
You know what's funny, dealer?
Settings over an X version.
I reviewed Batman Arkham Knight, right? And I reviewed that on the Xbox One, and that was 900p, I think. And people are like, why would you play it on that? It's 1080p on the PS4 and it has extra content. And I was like, because I play Xbox. You know what I mean? And they just like couldn't believe it. Like, oh my gosh, holy crap.
I got to get a celebrity opinion here. Bubbles. You guys know Bubbles from the Trailer Park Boys? Bubbles, what do you think of the Xbox One X and people complaining about they can't see the difference? Well, hey guys, I just wanted to say that if you can't see the difference in the screen and the graphics, I'll be happy to lend you my glasses.
Wow.
Wow,
that's something. Thanks.
I like Cletus better, Nick. I'm not gonna lie.
Cletus around. Get him off his tractor. Get him in here immediately.
Well, hey, fiddly diddly, I just wanted to say the only problem I had with the Xbox One X is it took me about 10 minutes to find where the damn disc went into the damn thing because it's all black.
Yeah.
Hey, if you guys didn't know, Cletus has his own Twitter now. So, yeah, you guys can go follow him.
Cletus forgot to turn the lights on when he was looking for the disc tray.
Yeah, he was. He's like, what disc tray, right? Like,
what
I don't know.
Is it?
I figured out why I was trying to turn the console on and nothing was happening. When I turned the lights on, I figured I was holding my dick for 10 minutes instead of the controller.
I had a disc in my dick hole.
Wow. You know what? I was going to say something funny, but then I was like, probably people wouldn't like that. That was like old BGST stuff, like people humping an Xbox in a shower and stuff. That should actually happen. It's pretty nasty stuff. Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
I know, right? It is. Mooch, what do you think? A week in, I mean, you thinking it's awesome, right?
I love the system. I really do. I mean, I've had a little bit of a hiccup. I'm one of the hardware guys that people have been having a hard time. I am actually getting a brand new Project Scorpio sent to me as we speak.
Oh, holy crap! What the hell?
Yeah. Well,
fan issue.
It works great. I'm playing it every night. But the fan issue I found out from Microsoft is not normal. So,
you found that out from me the other day.
I did find that out from you, but you don't come with a warranty.
I know. Yeah, a new one.
Issue are you speaking?
No, I'm getting a new one. It's from GameStop, believe it or not. Because they're getting one in for me, and they're like, just bring it in and we'll swap it out, no problem. They have a few always in the backlog for but
they're like, quick, spray paint some Project Scorpio on that one right there.
I gotta be honest with you, there's a lot of, and I'm glad we kind of brought that up because like shout out to K Mega and a bunch of other people that were like, hey, I went and got this one, and I wanted Project Scorpio, but I couldn't get my hands on it. Instead, I got this one. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, Kay, I told him, I said, enjoy that, bro. I'm like, because to be honest with you, no offense. I said this when we first found out in August who gives a shit? I mean, honestly, right hand to God, like the regular one in the project, it says Project Scorpio. And if they made it any smaller, you'd feel like a senior citizen with cataracts. Like, you have no idea. You can't even read the damn thing. Somebody's like, what is that over there? You like throw a pickle at the side of it? Why the fuck is there a green stain over there in the corner? It says Project Scorpio. Don't worry about it. What's Project Scorpio? Don't worry about it.
You do get the stand. The included stand is the only thing you should. You can just go get one of those. So really, it's not a big deal.
I don't even use mine's sitting vertical. And Hellhammer, you're Darth Vadering me to death.
Darth Vadering.
Well, just Star Wars.
Darth Vader and a hurricane.
Fucking
weirdo.
I'm glad enough time passed now we can use hurricane and a joke again on the podcast.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Too soon.
No, I think you're right. The vertical stand is the only thing that's utmost of value. Because let's be honest. I mean, I have the Gears of War 4 etched in 2 terabyte S, and I'm selling that. I'm bringing it back tomorrow. I'm bringing it back to GameStop. They said they'd still offer me the 150 or whatever it is, 175 for that one. I'm just gonna bring it back and get the credit for it off of my X because, frankly, I don't feel like dealing with 55,000 people on eBay. Number two. What the hell? I mean, Tim Dog says it best every week or every other week on Twitter. He's like, I can't see going back to the S. There's no way if you're like keeping an S in the house. I understand if you want to put the S in your bathroom and be like, well, I'm in the bathroom. Who gives a shit? That's fine. But like, you're not going to be like, here's my X over here on my 4K TV. And I conveniently move my S over to my 1080p TV that I use in this. Yeah. Okay. That room, that TV, and that set is just dead to you. So you're never going to switch over. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm just taking all the S's. Gotta sell them, man. Get rid of them. That's
for some reason I just couldn't pull the trigger on that, Mooch. I don't know. Like,
I'm not gonna talk you into it. I'm just saying right now. There's no way. Whenever, ever would you come home with a brand new game, or you pop in 1201, you get your digital download, and you're like, nah, you know what? Tonight just feels like an S night. No,
you're right.
No,
but look, I mean, like, what happens if something happens to your ex and you gotta send it back for a couple weeks, right? At least you're not
in your house. Jeez.
Yeah, exactly.
Crap, you do have that kind of. Yeah, I guess if you want to have a backup, but you know,
at least you're not without Xbox. For God's sake, I'd be stuck on PS4.
I know. Well, we don't. Instead of a podcast, we'd be doing like a prayer and like a vigil mass.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
So what's this fan issue that you're talking about? Because like.
His fan is loud, and he was like, "Doesn't anybody else have this problem?" And we were all like, "No."
There's a loud fan. I can't even hear myself.
It sounds like it waits and builds up to a certain temperature, and then the fan just goes whoosh and whooshes it all out.
That's all it is. That's exactly what it is. I actually took a recording. I sent it to shout out to Mike Ibarra.
Recording?
Well, Mike Ibarra told me to. He's like, send me a video of it.
Oh, okay. And he said that wasn't normal.
He's like, mine doesn't do that. He's like, he's actually sending it up the chain. He's taking the video and sending it up the chain. So he's like, I want people to see what this is, but he's like, he goes, if you have any, he's basically saying, if you have any issues, let me know. But I'm like, no, I already called GameStop. I know the manager over there. They're like, dude, it's going to take me a couple of days, but I'll get you Project Scorpio. So I'm like, all right, cool. But yeah, no, it's not normal. So like, you don't really, you have to pay it. Like, I'll send you guys the video that I took of it. It's literally, you have to listen. It's lower than that. It doesn't. That sounds like the beginning of Hooked on a Feeling. No, it doesn't do that. So
you'd probably keep it if it did do that, though, right?
Well, here's the thing. Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Ooh, shaka.
Feel like you haven't. No, but I mean, I think here's the deal. The whole deal with it is that you have to listen for it. But when I noticed it, I'm like, that just. Everyone's saying theirs is whisper quiet. I'm like, this is not whisper quiet. It's fan quiet.
It's whooshaka quiet.
It's whooshaka quiet.
Whooshaka.
Yeah. So it's.
Yeah, he mentioned this the other week, and we were all like, "No, mine. Like, I don't even know mine's on." To be honest with you, like,
I had never heard it once. Honestly,
literally everything in my cabinet.
It literally just sounds like the fan. All right, you guys all know the PS4 Pro. It's when it goes. And then it just keeps going. Yeah. This does that, not even close.
Shifts gears.
This just goes, shifts gears. This one just kind of does that, and then it goes, and that's it. That's what it does.
The queefing isn't normal, so I think you're doing the right thing. Get a new one.
I think it's the right thing. Well, that's what everyone says to me. They're like, just get it in anyways. It doesn't make a difference. So like, because here's the thing. If it is a heating issue down the road, like right now it works. Like that's the thing that kind of kicks me in the ass here. I'm like, watch me return this one, and then I'll actually get a real faulty one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But like, that's my chance. Those are the chances. But I want to experience what everybody else is, so I'm going to go ahead and do the exchange on it. I'll let you guys. I'll keep you guys posted.
Are you one of those journalists type people that are playing the games with the fucking thing on their laps? This thing is heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's really hot. It's getting warm.
I can't lift it.
It's too warm.
You got the one weird journalist in the corner. I like this. My thighs get cold.
I really like the X, but it doesn't play Horizon Zero Dawn. What?
I'm gonna sue Microsoft for making it too hot.
Yeah,
it's too hot. Like my coffee. It's too hot. Yes, too hot. Yes, it's too hot. It's too heavy. Whatever. It's like I get tired of that bullshit as well.
It's nonsense. But, it's the media, bro.
But I mean, so you've had a little bit of a problem. That's unfortunate.
Honestly, yeah. But here's the thing, though, crap. You can't. You gotta be careful. I'm trying to explain. I've had the issue exists, but I haven't missed a beat of gaming, and it does. Nothing has altered my gaming experience. The games run great. The system runs flawlessly. It's just like every 15 to 20 minutes, only during a game. If you're watching TV or Netflix or YouTube or anything like that, or just what is it there? Mixer doesn't do it at all. But when you're playing a game, every 15 minutes or so, it'll do that. And it's what dealer said. It's when the system is built up. It's built up enough heat. It's just making a fan push out noise for 1 second. It lasts about a second and a half, and it just is like. It does that. I know it sounds weird. That's what it does. I don't know. It's hard for me to explain to you guys. I should have said it to you guys before. I just didn't get a chance to I didn't get to the show till it was almost 8 o'clock.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's interesting that because I hadn't really heard that before.
But here's the thing, and I know it's funny because crap. By the way, crap only goes by YouTube community. There's the YouTube community, and I told crap because people have been writing me because we've been talking about this since MNC Mornings, and I've got a ton of people saying mine does the same thing. Actually, somebody in the chat right here, yourself as me, he says his does it as well. I don't think it's necessarily quote unquote faulty. I just think that it's a concern that if you have that one and you can exchange it, you should. That's all I'm saying. I don't think if you have it,
simple as a power saving measure because GPUs on the PC side, the fans won't spin up until they hit a certain degree, and that's what it sounds like it's doing. It's building up that temperature, and then it's pushing it out of the system, and then it dies again. You know.
Exactly. Now, what do you think? Why do you think
some my computer until it's?
Why do you think that's happening, Dealer? In the case of my situation, where I'm hearing it.
Well, I mean, if other people are saying it's happening, mine doesn't do it. And again, you know, I have never heard mine spin up at all, and I've been gaming like a motherfucker on it. So
and that's the first thing Ibarra said to me. Mike said, he goes, well, do you have a disc in there? And I'm like, no, it's not a disc ramping up or anything like that. It's just digital games. He's like, okay. So it's like, you know, it's not that. I just think it's ramping up, it's storing it, and then it's exhausting it. And I don't think, like I said, I don't think if you have it, it's a catastrophe. I just don't think it's actually. I also don't think it's by design.
It might not even be. It could be software as well. So
that's when you said that last week. I think that is what I completely agree with. I think it's a software thing.
Yeah, well, it could be, but I mean, at least you're still able to game and stuff like that because
there's no missing a beat. It's literally just an ironic noise that it makes. Again, it's not loud, it's not crunching, it's not scratching, it's not squealing. It's just an air. It's a fan push out.
Is it still more quiet than the PlayStation 4 Pro though?
Everything's quiet.
There's a roaring tiger outside my window right now. That's quiet.
That thing is loud. And I never thought like, oh, this is bad because I thought it was just common knowledge that the PS4 Pro is loud as fuck. You know what I mean? It is just extremely loud.
Right.
And like that's why, like for me, everybody knows me. Like at night, I leave mine on, and it's usually on like Hulu or something. And it's like
they tested that too, bud. They said it's like 5 or 10 decibels louder, and then it also runs 10 degrees Celsius hotter.
Yeah.
So
let me just
engineering.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, what's up, Nuke? Okay. There he is.
I wasn't sure if my mic cut off or not, but let me just put this out there, guys. Like, because we're hearing a lot of shit about the X, right? In terms of faults and different things here. Well, I just want to remind everyone. I think maybe it was Dealer who brought this up, maybe on the RDX podcast. I forget who it was, but it might have been you, Dealer. But like, basically, we live in a world now where everybody's connected. You have your phone out, you got your computer going, everybody's connected. So every single person that basically has a problem isn't just going back to the store or talking to Microsoft and getting these things resolved. They're basically going on social media and go, "Hey, I got a problem."
Right.
But I bet you if you talk to 20 different people, you know, you might have, say, 1 out of 20. Who knows, right? I don't know what the numbers are. But again, it's still a small amount of people that are experiencing some technical issues.
Yeah.
I've had a technical issue with my controller, and I fixed it with a really weird fix that somebody suggested online. My controller was disconnecting, my Xbox One Scorpio Edition one. So what happened was, apparently, there's a little bit of a flaw design in the controllers where those little 4 prongs that connect to the positive and negative dischargers inside the controller, if you put a piece of electrical tape over that, controller works perfect. So I stuck a piece of tape on there.
So you rigged up your controller is what you
I've rigged it up. It's working perfect now. Not a problem. But I just wanted to say, like, there's been a variety of different things. PSN down in the chat says, like, some people complain that their Xbox doesn't turn on at all. And I have seen this pop up a few times as well. If you're plugged in through a, one of those power converters or whatever, the power bars, should suggest to people, if you are having that problem, just plug it straight into the wall first, disconnect the cord, plug it back in, make sure it's flush, that it goes all the way in, because the socket in the X is a little deeper. And sometimes while it feels like the power cord is connected, it's actually not all the way in. So so
if it's not pulling enough juice from the wall, it'll shut off and stuff. It's not getting the juice it needs. So.
Yeah,
and you're right, man. Social media, that's how it is with everything. That's why people think stuff's so crazy. But social media, now everyone's connected and they hear about every little thing. And more than anything, you don't hear from the people that actually had the issue. You have people uploading compilations and taking other people's videos and re-uploading them, and people are blowing this out of proportion.
Yeah, it makes it seem like there's a lot
There's no official statement on it because the problem is still very minuscule, and they're replacing every single problem unit that they've had. So I don't know. I think it's been fairly smooth. It's not like the PS4's launch where they had 100,000 faulty HDMI ports from Amazon or any of that stuff that went on. You know, it's nothing.
The only issue that I've had is the A button on the controller I got with the console sticks.
That's so weird. Like the controller seemed to be the biggest things I'm hearing about.
Yeah, and you know what? I actually was gonna contact Microsoft about it, and I did. But the only option I have is they'll pretty much give me any other controller I want, but they can't replace the Scorpio Edition. So I was like, eh. I already have a bunch of
This is why you got to. I mean, listen, this is old school, guys, but it's great conversation. Like, I know all you guys, everyone's running around with their phones and I love my computer. I got to order everything from Amazon because I like to sit home. I like the guy to actually come over and put it on my lap and then hook it up for me. Guys, go to a brick and mortar store and actually get something done yourself. Like my controller, my D-pad didn't work. I went right back the next day. I told Crap this. Remember Crap? I told you day one.
Geez,
went right back
seriously?
the next day. Yeah, my D-pad was stuck. So
he goes, Crap, what do I do? And I
like someone spilled a bunch of soda on the shipment of controllers.
Yeah, so I ended up bringing it back, and the guy was I don't know, whoever works at GameStop would know this. I know a lot of people would know. Like if you bought the Scorpio edition and you wanted the Elite controller, they had this deal where if you bought the Scorpio and the Elite, they would take $50 off the Elite. The only if and or but is they open up the Scorpio edition and they take the Scorpio controller because they wanted to sell that one at GameStop because it's a collector's item. So he goes, my buddy who I know there, he's like, actually, you won't believe it. He's like, if you come in right now, he's like, a guy just did the Elite controller deal and he saved $50 on the Elite controller. I have a brand new Scorpio controller right here. Guy just left like 25 minutes ago, but he goes, you got to bring your broken one back in so we can ship it back. And I'm like, no problem. So I brought in the one that stuck and this one's been great. So no issues there. So I have the controller's perfect. And then it's just the fan thing. I mean, like I said, here's the thing. The internet is large, right? It's the world, the earth. So like everybody's talking. So when you hear this, even if you hear 100 people complaining, I mean, there's a million out there. That's not a lot. That's just not a lot. PlayStation went through their issues. Xbox One, remember when Xbox One first came out? They had the disc crunching noise and spitting the disc back out. That came out. The PS4 Pro, even when it's working 100%, sounds like it's going to blow up your television and universe. I mean, there's all kinds of things that go wrong. It is what it is. I think this is just us reporting on it because a lot of people tell us, hey, dealer, hey, Crap, hey, Mooch, hey, Noof. You know, like this is my problem. Are you guys experiencing? Because they know that we're talking, we're in the network, so other people are talking to other people about it and telling us.
Yeah, you're right, exactly. Just like what that guy who messaged me about the people that are uploading like cheats and stuff to the cloud and then using them in game for exploits.
Right.
Microsoft is looking into it, but he's like, hey, can you do something on a video on this to bring some attention to it? So I did. It's not a huge problem yet. But there's videos out there on YouTube showing people how to do this, like unlimited ammo and all these kind of hacks and stuff, and running around on Xbox Live on Gears 4 and Call of Duty. So I mean that's a bit of a problem too. But for me personally, I got a few. I wouldn't say like there's also what people have to understand. There's an acceptable amount of hardware failure. Like there's a certain amount. That's just how it is. And no piece of hardware is going to function 100%.
Right.
Yeah, every piece of hardware is going to have failure rates. I mean, that happens on literally every single thing, whether it's PlayStation, whether it's on your PC, your TVs. I mean, whatever, right? Like everything has a certain threshold for that, right? It's just like even with TVs, especially on like the lower end TVs, there's a certain amount of dead pixels that are acceptable, by the manufacturer before they can be returned and all this other crap.
Yeah, Hellhammer's a big one for returning shit with dead pixels.
Oh
like
yeah,
that dude. Like I forget what it was, man. And maybe it was his 3DS or a PSP back in the day or something. He's like, man, it's got a dead pixel. I got to take this bitch back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, dead.
Look, when you manufacture anything in mass quantities these days, there's bound to be a small percentage of failures. I mean, after all, even condoms fail. How the hell do you think I got here?
Hey now. No, chill, still.
Wow.
Well, hey, you were there. I guess you saw it all happen.
He was. That was also the last time
You saw it all happen.
coincidentally, that was the last time I won a race personally. Just saying. Oh. I thought that was hilarious. Come on. It doesn't get a laugh. Come on.
We tried, Crap.
Oh, god damn it. Okay. So we have, let's see, what else do we have? So yeah, Noof, what are your thoughts on Xbox a week later?
Well, I love it. I mean, I haven't had a chance to go through my library. Like some of you guys have been very busy. Last 2 days I've been playing Super Lucky's Tale quite a bit. And I know that's not really a showcase title. So it's kind of one of those games that's really hard to kind of, hey, I've been playing this game. But it looks absolutely amazing. Plus the 60 frames are dynamite on the game. It's smooth as butter. There is a couple of spots where it slows down. It seems to be in the overhead scenes of the game where it sort of shifts to this overhead view. It kind of looks like one of those labyrinth boards. But outside of that, and I'm sure it's something they could probably fix up in a patch as well. It's a pretty good game, but Tomb Raider looks absolutely dynamite. And the fact that you can play it in one of several different modes is awesome. I just recently tried out Titanfall 2. That game definitely looks way crisper now. It was like, it was almost as if I was playing games with cataracts all these years. And the damn thing was so crisp and clear. The detail on the person's clothes and their armor, and oh man, it was just amazing. I am loving the system. I think it's worth every penny. I mean, especially if you're a hardcore gamer, somebody that plays a lot of games and is looking for the best visual fidelity, it is a no-brainer. Pick this sucker up, man.
Hell yeah, dude. Hellhammer, what's your have you been enjoying like your Netflix and stuff, bro, on your X? Just curious.
Man, I've been playing a shit ton of games. You're the one who's been nothing but media player.
Dude,
You're like,
I beat Call of Duty.
I upgraded my
beat
media player.
Sonic Forces. I'm in Assassin's Creed. I beat South Park Stick of Truth. Dude, I'm all over these games. Man, I got over like 1,200 gamer score so far this month.
But,
I know that's not a ton, but I mean, I'm not no Rand Outdoor, but come on.
But yeah, I mean, it's been good, right? Like every game that I've played, I went back. I've even played some of the 360 games. Just trying stuff out, really, and kind of seeing how everything runs. The 360 games here enhanced look a lot better. Of course,
Halo 3 looks amazing.
Yeah, Halo 3 looks really good, and that's very surprising actually, at how good that game looks.
Hell yeah, dude.
Assassin's Creed looks, I mean, probably the best as I've seen it. I mean, I don't think even my PC can run it to that quality Battlefront
2 is looking really good, but I don't know who's
Battlefront 2 looks amazing to me. I played I ran up the EA Access trial on that. I have the game. I just it's like I don't have the one that lets you play it early, so it's like a Friday deal for me. But yeah, well, I guess we can segue into the Star Wars Battlefront stuff too. Like the loot crate problems. Okay, so apparently you guys might have also heard that one of the developers claimed that he was being harassed and threatened. That turned out to be bogus. Right. So that's good. It's not good as gamers to kind of act like that. There's always a better way. But also like the game itself, right? Apparently it's very much pay to win. This is according to this one thing. It takes 4,528 hours or $2,100 to unlock all base game content in Star Wars Battlefront 2. Yeah.
Good job, guys.
Yes, I mean,
I'm going to be as old as Yoda by the time I finish.
That $15,000 Mass Effect guys, like that's all.
That's all. Here's the thing, though, right? They would have been better off doing another season pass and not having any loot crates. At least people would have been like, "Yeah, we expect season passes on this shit." But
now they're just going to get destroyed critically, which is going to affect their game sales.
It is. You know what I'm saying? Because look, I played, like I said, the 10 hours of EA Access. The game looks beautiful. It sounds beautiful. It's amazing. I see the scores on this thing. I'm like, what the hell? Like, people are scoring it low simply because of the loot crate, the loot. Also, the arcade mode or whatever has like a cooldown period or whatever, just like a free-to-play mobile game.
What? A cooldown?
Yeah.
How does that work? Let's go a little bit more detail there.
Okay, Star Wars Battlefront 2's offline arcade mode suffers from a mobile free-to-play cooldown type situation, right?
The fuck?
Yeah, like a legit
you stupid fox. What are you doing to yourselves?
I love cooldown.
Yeah,
so
I
was watching a video today by a guy called Level Cap. He spent $100. He just to see what he could get over everyone else, and he ended up maxing out a Starfighter. He got all level 4 star cards for it through his $100 investment plus the $60. Who knows if he bought the $100 edition or whatever? But basically, he ended up with like 40% faster flight and turning, 50 or 40% more damage. And I was like, wow, they're sticking these kind of buffs behind these star cards. Whereas for somebody who doesn't spend that money, you could play it for months and never have all that stuff. Literally.
Yeah.
And that is definitely, paid to win for sure right there. That's ridiculous. The way they explained it last time, I wasn't aware of any kind of ridiculously huge buffs like that tied to any kind of crate. That is nuts. So
yeah, it is. So just for you guys to know, like, and this is what I'm going to read from. It says the game features a ridiculous mobile cooldown in its arcade mode, which is the offline mode, that prevents slowdowns from players from earning credits. This has been confirmed by multiple sources. As such, the game has a cooldown feature similar to what you can find in a mobile free-to-play games. After a number of arcade matches, the game does not reward players with credits. Instead, they'll have to wait for a few hours until credits become available once again. So yeah, it's like this game, like, I don't understand the tacked on stuff like this. This game was already going to sell 15 or 20 million. You got a Star Wars movie coming out, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
the last one sold 30 million copies, and they just shot themselves in the foot. It was all theirs for the taking. And I was thinking Patrick Sutherland would be a good CEO for EA, maybe. But after seeing this shit, this guy's clearly a fucking idiot.
Yeah, like I don't understand how they totally, like, now nobody, like, people that I know are like, I'm canceling my pre-order. Like, I was counting on this game being big so that I had people to play with, and now everybody's pissed off at it over the loot crates. Like, to be fair, the loot crate stuff, like, the pay to win aspects is bullshit. Like, if you just want to do looks or armor or whatever, like a certain kind of whatever, or skins, do all you want, right? But the fact that they're doing it in a pay to win style with the heroes and stuff like that, somebody can have those Wookiees are one-shot kills.
It's
you know what
not
I mean?
like it's hard to figure out.
Kills.
Just look at Overwatch.
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
Like look at over. It's been done to death. These people chose not to do it that way.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Overwatch
like,
is funny. I watched a video when Overwatch came out, similar to what Dealer was talking about. Guy spent $100 at IGN on the loot crates and at Overwatch. And the funny part, it was the exact opposite. He spent, I don't know which one's worse. He spent $100 and he got skins.
That's all they offer. That's why I say Overwatch, because they don't offer you buffs and crates.
Right. There was no buffs or anything. Yeah, no. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, I mean, now you're pissed on two occasions. You're pissed because they're charging this much for the crates. Then you're pissed because at the end of the day, you got like a free sticker. And
yeah,
I'm like, what?
Cosmetics are the way to go, though. I think they'd have been so much better off with that route.
Yeah. I think it's a safer way to go. I mean, this is my concern with this, and I know you guys are saying that all these bad scores are just because of the loot crates. And yes, a large portion
the scores,
are.
The first thing they mention is the loot crates. Like, it shouldn't be defined by the loot crates, but unfortunately,
I understand. I understand, and it will be.
It's not a 92. It's a 87 or whatever the fuck.
Right, because of the loot crates. Right, and I mean, you see, like, I think that. The cooldown thing you're talking about there, Crap, and the free-to-play game. This was my biggest concern with this game is I just don't think it's all that. And I understand it's pretty, but like that's been
it's a good game, but a good game is hidden behind like 15 paywalls.
Yeah,
you're like, here, it's a good game.
Pay to get the damn game,
right? You gotta,
exactly.
So this game's like $500 to enjoy what you guys have been preaching for 3 months, and that's the problem.
Like, you asked me, you're like, what's the difference between this version and this version? I'm like, hell if I know. I just got the regular version.
That's what I asked you. I was like, which one did you get? I'm like, did you get the one that's this deluxe thing? And I've talked to people that had it now, and they're like, just wait till Friday, dude. Yeah. I'm like, all right. I'm like, and these are big fans.
It's a bunch of digital trash, you know what I'm saying? Those crates and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So they're like, just wait till Friday, play the game, the regular game. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. See, I'm so looking forward to this game still. Some people are saying the campaign's only like 4 hours or so. I don't know, like that.
Probably a good thing from what I played, man. The campaign from the EA Access trial was like a 7 out of 10 to me so far.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I thought it was good looking. I was hoping to maybe explore kind of a little bit more with that, but it's a bit unfortunate. But I can understand some of the backlash. Like, if you're like, now's the time to kind of backlash in a calm manner without threats and harassment. But we're the consumers, and so speak to these people and say, hey, we want you to kind of remove this. You're messing up a good game. It's like Forza 7 should have a higher score, but a lot of people thought that was microtransactions when it wasn't. And now it's like, yeah, exactly. Now
this is the time.
This is microtransactions.
It has microtransactions, unlike Forza.
And if you're going to buy the game, you might as well buy it now, because in 6 months' time, the only people playing that bloody game are going to be the diehards and the tryhards and the people that spent about $150 buying fucking all the loot crap.
The only people that are going to be playing it in 6 months are the same people that are going to show up on December 17th dressed up as Darth Vader and Yoda for the opening of the Star Wars 8 movie.
I mean, it has free DLC. We don't know the quality of it.
Free DLC has happened a number of times. Happened with Titanfall 2, and there was like 8 people playing it in 2 months.
Yeah, but that's Titanfall.
Free DLC is only great if, again, and I know me and Dealer had a classic on attached to the glitcher, but like, right? I think me and Dealer are like, they're putting up billboards of us in Manhattan right now. But like, in all honesty, like my whole thing with Dealer that I told him was free and add-ons and more. It's only good if it's quality. Like I say, you go to an all-you-can-eat Ponderosa buffet. I mean, except for the chicken wings, the rest is just shit. And you're like, but look at all the shit they gave us. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to eat any of it.
I think that came up, though, because we were using the first game as a reference as to why it kind of died off so quick. Well, it didn't have content. Same reason Battlefield 1's player base fell off. And then I was like, well, we know the numbers. We know it has 3 times the content day one. Plus, we know there's no segregation through the season pass. So, you know, the odds are better. We just don't know the quality yet. Maybe they'll have a little more incentive now that they're getting curb stomped on these reviews. And
that may be the truth, but I'll tell you, it is a bit disturbing. Listen, I don't want to sit here and say that a 4-hour single-player campaign is not worthy of your money. That's not my place to tell you that. If it's a great story, a good campaign, and it's really, really action-packed. But, I mean, I've watched – shout out to our friend that doesn't know we're friends, Rad Brad, and his 75 million. Let's do this. Our buddy who's got 75 million subs that watch him run around, and he says he loves us.
I borrowed some of his content in another life.
That's awesome. But I watched his part 1 and part 2 when he played through Star Wars, and and it could pick up. I didn't want to watch the whole thing. I'm going to play it, but I'm like, man, it's just like running and getting away, and there's 3 people looking in the opposite direction, like pew pew pew, and just
don't start your fucking game out with a stealth mission, you know?
Right, exactly. Go to the left. Pew, pew.
Now that EA has got full control over Respawn, we can see the next Titanfall game right now. The crate is going to fall out of the sky, and instead of getting the full Titan, you just get the feet. It'd be like a Lego set. You got to build them up one piece at a time.
That's great.
Hey, you know what? I wouldn't doubt it. Like, I wasn't stoked about that Titanfall buy or the Respawn buyout. Like, that didn't impress me. I was like, that's not really a good thing. I don't know. You know, I didn't mind. The first mission wasn't as good as the second mission. For me on that, I like being on the jungle and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty kick ass, and I like the graphics. I thought it looks phenomenal. But overall, it's like I am kind of worried about this game and the longevity because people seem to be really canceling their pre-orders and stuff. Like, is that just internet folk or is that like everybody? Because I still think the average gamer is going to be like, hey, cool, look, Bobby, Star Wars.
Today, and especially here after like little things like a cooldown in a $60 game on a game that's going to sell 20 million minimum over time. That's just greed, and that's really the root problem of 90% of these kind of problems easily. Yeah.
Like, what does EA want? Like, weren't they voted like worst company in America for a while?
You're catching back up with Activision, you stupid fox.
Exactly. Like, what are you doing? You know, like you do
it, right? That's what they do. They don't test market this stuff. They go into a boardroom to make all the decisions, and then they basically go, you know what? We're gonna test the market and see how far we can take it. And this is the one game that they can pull it off with because it's got a big license beyond it. If this was a no-name game, like this thing would be almost like dead on arrival. But Star Wars alone is going to push this thing out into the fucking, you know, at least the 5 to 10 million copy probably mark before people even smarten up. And then there you go. They already got their money, and then the diehards will stick around to buy all the loot crates, and they'll keep it going. And there you go.
This is a sign, guys. We talked about this a long time ago. This isn't just to pick on the game. Like, we have to actually talk about Star Wars for a minute. And there's a lot of articles coming out now. It's everywhere. I mean, there's a lot of different articles all over the internet saying, are we getting Star Wars out? And I think this is absolutely foolish of Disney to do this because they had something that was just like utterly peaking, and it would have stayed at the top of that sine curve. It would have never have dropped. It would have just been flat on top. They could have, and now they're doing Star Wars. You know, they did Star Wars 7, then they do Rogue One, Star Wars 8. Right, exactly. Now they're doing Star Wars this, a Star Wars cereal, Star Wars game every year. It's like, you know, now the problem is here's what's going to happen. You have all these people that are Star Wars lunatics. They're buying everything in the world under the sun that's Star Wars. If Star Wars 8 isn't that great, they are going to, like, literally, you're going to see the largest protest of Star Wars fans in the world. You're going to see a bunch of Ewoks with a bunch of, like, pitchforks and knives charging the Lucas Skywalker Ranch. I mean, it is going to be an absolute spectacle. And I think it's because they're drowning us out. And this is the thing. This is why I've said this a lot, is don't just go buy something because it's Star Wars napkins. I got to have them. Stop. Look at what you're buying. See if it is something that is actually a quality product. I honestly was one of the first people to say, I thought Rogue One was mediocre at best. Boosh! Get the fuck out of here. I'm like, guys, it wasn't that good. I don't know what the hell you guys were watching.
Rogue One was just full of forgettable characters.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I said. I said, we're sitting here waiting for Forrest Whitaker to come back on screen. Get out of here. So, like, you know, it is what it is, but he was the star.
Name like 3 characters from that movie, Crap. I know you like it.
There was Jin Urso, there was Krennic, and of course Saul Guerrera. Like that was
which ones were those?
Jin Urso was the main female protagonist, right?
That one doesn't count.
Okay, well, director Krennic, he was the main villain, right?
Okay, that one doesn't count.
Saul Guerrera was Forrest Whitaker's character. So I mean,
all right. What about the other
Bodhi?
What about the other little?
Bodhi was the pilot.
Characters?
He was kind of crazy. Like he was the kind of crazy pilot. Or
how many times have you watched this movie, Crap?
I've watched it like twice or 3 times, something like that.
Yeah, he hasn't watched. You haven't watched Terminator yet.
Like the guy with the big gun. What was his name?
I don't. I forget their damn names. But this is what I will say about that movie. Right? Why I like it. I'm a fan of the movie The Dirty Dozen, which is basically kind of like that, where you go on this kind of suicide mission or whatever, and everybody dies. So basically, that's what happens or whatever. So yes, I'm a nerd. Whatever. I like Star Wars. Like. You know,
The Dirty Dozen.
We had
that
like
sounds
700
like
watching
a football game.
Hey, is this Mooch's channel? 700 watching and 200 likes. Like, come on, guys, step it up, man. Hit that damn like button. Like, Jesus, like 200. Like, man,
The Dirty Dozen. That sounds like some groupies after a football game.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know. Yeah, you know, but I like that movie. I'm hoping that the game's gonna be good because it is what it is. Like, did you already get it too, Mooch?
Which one? The Star Wars? Yeah.
Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got it gifted. I mooched it. All right. No big shocker there, folks. Dealer's loving it. But I know a buddy, guy gets hold of me all the time. We're always talking on Xbox Live, and he's like, bro, heard you're on the fence about Star Wars. He's like, here's a Microsoft code. Knock yourself out. That's why I wrote you, and I said, is it worth me chipping in the extra 20 to get the limited edition, the deluxe edition? And I wrote you, I wrote Mr. Boomstick, I wrote a bunch of people that I knew big Star Wars fans and were going to get it. And every one of you, every single one, you came back with the most ridiculous answer of all. And I'm not getting that. I'm waiting for Friday. I thought you were definitely getting it because you're crap. Like, you get everything.
Yeah, I get. And I mean, it's done. The deal's done. You know what I mean?
They might as well call deluxe editions the hype edition because that's the only time you'll end up really buying the deluxe edition and maybe not regretting it is if you absolutely cannot wait for the game or you want every little thing, you know.
Like with Forza.
I got the hype edition of Assassin's Creed and it didn't give me shit except for some swords I don't use. So, you know.
I mean, that's the way it goes, though. You know what I mean? Like, you buy, they're trying to make extra money a buck any way they can. And so you do that. And a lot of times, for me, what I found out, like the games that will give you early access, I can't really play that much early anyway. So it's like I end up playing when it normally releases with everybody else. And I'm like, why did I spend that extra money? Like the first Battlefront, I paid the 80 or 100 bucks or whatever it was to get the hand solo gun. You know, going around one-shotting people like a god. Pew, pew, you know what I mean? That was fun as hell. Yeah, it was fun as hell. I'm willing
to bet, though, that EA paid a hell of a lot more for the Star Wars license now that Disney owns it.
They made that money.
Well, here's the thing,
Battlefront 1 probably 30 million sold.
Disney's biggest problem right now is only EA is allowed to make Star Wars games, right? There's way more that EA is they make shooters and stuff, you know, and when they tried to make something else, they closed down the goddamn studio.
Well, you know, that's all EA does is they lock shit down so no one else can compete. That's all they do.
Yeah,
Madden,
like Madden. Yeah, I would love. Although this Madden is pretty good, but you know, I would still love to see competition. Like ESPN and like that 2K shit was awesome. It was amazing. I loved it.
When they locked that license down, 2K was out front.
It was, and not only that, but they were selling 2K, I think, or for $19.99 or $29. It was $19.99.
Mm-hmm.
All their sports games, and that's a fair price if you're doing a yearly thing.
What they knew is they knew they had to overtake the biggest franchise out there. They knew they had a quality game, and that's what helped turn most people to 2K, and that's when they locked it down on Madden.
Yep, and that was a really damn good idea for them. They really was a good idea, and it's just like, remember how we used to get like the Marvel superhero movie games and stuff like that? We don't even get that anymore. You know, like there was a decent Captain America one for the first movie that came out on the 360.
Yeah, that was pretty decent, except for that Thor one.
The Thor one was horrible. Yeah, I know. It was like the Thor one was horrible, awful, just terrible.
Hellhammer was
not related. Did you guys also know that Disney itself is actually starting their own Netflix streaming service? So they're pulling all of their stuff off of Netflix.
Yeah, they're doing a Star Wars.
Yeah,
Disney. They're doing their own streaming service, and they're going to do a Star Wars TV show, and all the Star Wars and all the Disney stuff is going to be.
Somebody help me! I'm drowning in Star Wars.
Yeah,
pull me out.
So many fucking streaming
Marvel
services.
TV shows, everything's going to go.
Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, there's a shit ton of streaming services. Like, I have
$10
Amazon,
for each one. You end up paying more than you did for cable.
Netflix, Amazon Instant, CBS All Access. Man, I pay for all that shit, man. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, it's
I said this a long time ago. And everyone says, time to cut the cord. Get rid of your cable. You're out of your mind. Like, by the time you keep doing all these a la cartes, it's $60 for cable, dude. Each of these things is $10, $12 a month. So if you only have Netflix,
stop making so much sense.
I'm sorry. I wasn't talking to you. I've literally had this conversation with so many people I know at work and everywhere. They're just like, well, it's time to cut the cord. Now, if you excuse me, I have to get Hulu Plus, Netflix all day, HBO Go, HBO Now, HBO later. And I'm like, what? The fuck is wrong with you, man? I'm like, by the time you're done with all this shit, you're back up to $50, $60. And when you had cable, I understand you didn't watch all 300 channels. I get it. And a lot of them are useless. But there's still 300 channels. Like, just stick with cable.
You could surf right through all them goddamn channels.
Absolutely.
I mean,
honestly, the streaming stuff has a place, though. I mean, there's some people who only watch a handful of stuff, and that's fine if you only subscribe to one thing.
You can just stream your cable now with that DirecTV app or whatever, right? So
yeah.
Well,
for me personally, like there's some stuff on each of these services that, again, I guess exclusive content matters. But there's exclusive stuff on Hulu. There's exclusive stuff on Netflix. There's exclusive stuff on Amazon that make me subscribe to, and even the CBS thing, which was that new Star Trek show. And so yeah, I like so there's
Star Trek.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, so there's reasons behind that. You know what I mean? But it's like, it's interesting shit. But I want to move on to the only kind of basis that we have for Xbox One X being sold so far, which was over 80,000 in the UK the first week. Which took the PS4 Pro a month to achieve that. The Sony ponies will be quick to go. They was constrained with, they didn't have a lot. It was, they were sold out. We couldn't find them anywhere. Blah blah blah. Like you can do that with the X.
I found one pretty easily, and that was that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, but according to them, it was because there were supplies constrained, like the Switch. But so we know that, and Aaron Greenberg came out and said way bigger numbers than that in the U.S., and it was similar to those all over Europe and every other place. So a lot of places are kind of upping their amount that they believe were sold. So what's your guys' thoughts on this? Positive reaction? A lot of people are kind of eating crow. I saw Cole Eastwood message Pactor and have everybody like tweet their pictures to him. Like that guy probably got to get pissed at that. But like everybody's getting this thing. Like people weren't stupid. They were like, hey, Xbox One X is the truth. We buy new phones every so often. Let's go ahead and buy a new console every so often. It's not a big deal. A lot of people did that.
Yeah, Pactor. I mean, the Pactor thing is it's comical because just to be honest with you, like it'd be nice if like where's anybody, Andrea Renee, Greg Miller, any of the people that were like, nah, that they never said anything like it sucks or anything. They were just like, I can't fathom why people would want to pay $500 for a console that makes everything better. I'm having a hard time fathoming that. That's because I'm over here on the West Coast and everything's a little delirious over here. What's wrong with you guys? Stop staying in the sun so much. Try some snow. And, I don't get it. I don't see how any of these people in the gaming media call themselves gamers and then a box that's going to come out for the next foreseeable future, 3 years, could be 4. Who knows what Microsoft and Sony really have planned and be the better console for $500. And you're like, nah. But you just said for 3 years that I should buy the better game on PlayStation for 180p's. Even though if you watch most of Digital Foundry's reviews of these games, they said that the games performed better on the Xbox One the past 3 years. Yeah. But they still gave the win to Sony because the slight bump in resolution. So, now you have the resolution, you're getting performance, you're getting faster load times. You're getting better effects. It's comparable to some PCs. You gotta be careful with that. Only God knows when you say some PCs who you're actually talking to. But
it's better than most PCs.
I agree with you, but I'll leave that up to you.
I'll say it because it's just an absolute fact. So, the research has been done. Not everybody's rocking a 1060, 1070. That's the minority. So,
agreed. Agreed. So
She Wolf says her ex is having issues. What kind of issues? Because Mooch has had an issue too.
yeah, but mine's not really. Well, it depends on what she says. What She Wolf says. It's not an issue. Mine's more of a concern. I mean, I'm playing.
Gotcha. Yeah, gotcha.
Okay. Yeah. So
It queefs.
me and my Xbox One X tonight, we're doing a quartet. There's a bunch of things happening. I think that I think my ex is fine. I just more along the lines. I just don't want to have an issue.
That I heard with the ex was a problem that I have. What the hell is that? Somebody
shooting an air gun.
I guess.
That's
I don't know.
spitball.
Mooch's Xbox.
Oh.
Yes. But the biggest problem that I heard, which is a problem that I had and that Colt Eastwood had, was getting the TVs to recognize the 4K, all the 4K shit, right? Like that was a problem that I had. Mine wouldn't recognize that I had an HDR TV.
Yeah, to boot the game up and then look at it again. That's what happened to Colt. His was doing the same thing. He just booted up Assassin's Creed, checked it again, and it recognized everything.
Yeah, mine was I had to power cycle it a few times and then go into the HDMI thing and manually move it to 2.0 because it was reading at 1.4. And so I had to switch it around. And then finally it was like, oh, because I got X's on everything. It wouldn't even display 4K at first. It's like, your TV sucks. You know what I mean? Buy a better TV. I'm like, bitch, the TV got all checks on the S and the PS4 Pro HDR and everything works. So why wouldn't it work with the goddamn X?
Right.
So then it turned out that, there was some kind of issue or whatever. Some people are having some cable issues on theirs as well, but mine's quiet. Now everything works fine. The HDR pops. It's great, man.
Your Xbox doesn't hiss at you.
No, my Xbox is fine, man. I'm digging it. I think it's absolutely amazing.
No, it is. It's literally the beginning of week 2. These things are. Mine's been working perfectly, and most people I know have had zero issues. And I think any issues that are there, the Blu-rays getting ironed out already with the patch. It's been confirmed. Yeah. A lot of these things will be fixed through the first stability update.
What's the problem with the Blu-ray?
The black levels were gray. They were more gray than they should be.
Again, that's a software issue, right? Though,
yeah, Mike already said they've already got a fix for it.
Yeah, my X has literally been on since launch day. I won't say launch night because I had to get the update. I had to restart a couple times or whatever, and I haven't had any issues. I haven't turned it off since.
I just looked down and mine was on. Oops.
Well, She Wolf says their X will unconnect from the controller. It has a problem connecting with people who have an X in parts. Heats up really bad when it's doing auto updates. And had games, some kind of problems and issues with the Elgato.
I mean, it's going to be warm to the touch on top because there's, that's how it's going to work now. That's where the chip's at. Noof found a fix for the controller, didn't you, Noof?
Yeah, just
for the controller, put a piece of tape over the battery slot there where they got the 4 little prongs, those 4 little, I don't know, looks like little wires that go out on one side. Just put a piece of electrical tape over it, make sure it's all like well flush, and should work. Mine hasn't given me an issue since.
And you can use other controllers with it, and it works perfectly fine, right?
Yeah.
I use my other. I've tried several controllers, and everything else is working fine except for the Scorpio one, which would just disconnect. And again, apparently, some guy found out through testing on an older Xbox. He said basically it's just because the negative and a positive, it's too close to those little things, and sometimes it will basically just discharge the controller, and then it just stops connecting.
Like shorts itself out. That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, that is interesting. Like I made sure I did after I heard everybody else was having problems with their controllers. I made sure that mine worked and everything, and then I put it up with the other controllers because I'm not going to stop using my Elite.
Well, the reason I don't think any of these issues, mine included, none of these are big deals, is this one reason. No one has said they can't play their system. Months, She Wolf saying it's too hot, or it is having a little bit of connection issues.
Well, I mean, what's too hot? I mean,
well, too hot doesn't really, because I mean, we saw the levels they get at on Digital Foundry, and IGN did a heat test, and it does get hot, and we knew that.
Much cooler than the Pro with more power.
It's much cooler than the Pro. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So
the Pro goes.
I was just playing the Pro does that noise for 30 minutes. And there's really barely any stop. I actually went over and felt the top of it after I played for 2 or 3 hours. It was, I would say, warm. It was definitely warm, but I wasn't and the same thing with the PS4 Pro. The PS4 Pro is even hotter. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, it's so hot that I have to. But the problem with PS4 Pro, it's as hot as but I mean, I just like that. But honestly, the fan on the PS4 Pro just doesn't stop. I mean, it just doesn't stop. That's a problem.
Yeah. And considering it's bigger, the Pro is much bigger than the S or the X. I mean, so yeah.
I mean, listen, I like taking care of my stuff. Like I always take care of all my electronics. Everything is taken care of. Even my PS4 Pro is like immaculate. I keep everything immaculate, keep everything set up,
and like everything.
I do. And
I have a feather duster, and I dust all the stuff, and you know what I mean.
You don't need a feather duster anymore. You have what is it called there? The what's that non-stick thing that we use on the floors all the time? Whatever. It's basically the same shit. But like, you should go over that with it, and it doesn't give it any kind of electrical charge either. But like you do that. Well, the thing is, if you ever want to trade these things in or sell them on eBay, like take care of your shit, people. Like that's just. Like,
I just use compressed air like I do for everything.
Yeah, I mean
that works too. That totally works.
It's definitely get hot though. That's where the heat sinks at, and it pushes all the air out the back of the system. I mean, that's normal.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. So, guess what, guys? Remember when Titanfall 2 ran better on the PS4 Pro for like that couple days? Not anymore.
Like 2 days.
Yes, it was like 2 days, and everybody was like, "Ha! The X is shit. This proves it." Yeah. Like I got messages like that for like a day and a half. People were like, "Who's your god now, Crapgamer?" And I'm like, "What are you smoking?"
These stupid idiots. We literally told them that it was a shitty patch, and they were going to patch it. And I don't understand. You just wait like a few days. You know, don't freak out. Don't think that you have a chance. You don't.
Yeah. Exactly. So just in case you guys didn't know, that problem's been ironed out. Now it's higher resolution and frame rate steadier and all that kind of stuff on the Xbox One X, just like we all said it would be. So I mean, I guess you guys have that to kind of look forward. Mooch, weren't you the one that was like, well, screw Titanfall 2 and Respawn?
Yeah, well, I did do that, not in my Mr. Burns voice, but
after that he was like, excellent.
Yeah, the reason I said it though was for none of the reasons you've brought up. It was because I just think the game sucked, and I also think that I didn't care for the way Vince Appel and his team handled the situation with their release. I didn't like it, and you could say it doesn't matter and it didn't matter. That's fine. That's a you problem. I have my opinion. And I don't like how his people came out. And even after it was made a stink of, then they took the disc and they were like, look, we're both going to share this blue disc. And I'm like, all right, so whatever. Now you're going to the nth degree.
Mooch holds a grudge like a true Italian. I got to tell you that much, man.
It's not a grudge. I don't like the game. I don't think Titanfall 2 is that good of a game. Everyone likes it. That's fine. You can see all 8,000 people that bought it loved it. That's cool. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. Like, it's funny because nobody bought the game. Nobody's playing the game. The only game that has less people actively playing it is Lawbreakers. And you guys are, and there's 25 people that did reviews are like, it was fantastic. Okay, great. It's like, I don't know what to say. I think I actually, even though I made my comment and you guys made yours, I definitely think that more people favored mine because no one bought it. As you can clearly see,
it's bad.
Nobody wanted it. They changed it to Call of Duty. It is what it is.
I don't know who's that Y9 Power. You keep on putting a bunch of emojis in there, and
he does that every week, though. He's
okay.
Yeah.
Like, I got some kind of new stuff on there that
I saw that.
Bad messages.
Yeah,
so now we're gonna approve it or whatever. So yeah, it's interesting. Good stuff, man. I appreciate the support. Make sure you guys hit that like button because we're closing in on hitting 300 there. Digital game gifting, right? But he can do it now. But there is a major problem that I know it's not a problem per se, but because of the exchange rates and stuff. But what happened with me personally is somebody gifted me a game and I went to go do it. And of course it's a different region. So I can't do anything with it. And I guess the guy can't get his money back, whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's a bit of a bummer. Like, why not? I don't know. Like, since you do it by the person's gamer tag, wouldn't their region be locked to that anyway? So, if I was going to buy somebody a game and they're in a different region, shouldn't it stop me from buying that for them if they're in a different region instead of letting me buy it?
Yeah, it should. I mean, the other way around that too would be to just adjust the exchange rate based on who, if you're buying something in the US for somebody in the UK, you pay the price that they would pay for it, and vice versa. Yeah.
Like,
it's easily fixed.
Steam can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of a bummer, I guess. Anybody else want to chime? Mooch, No,
No, I was talking to Mr. 100 in the chat. What are you guys talking about?
Okay. So what are we talking about, John Doe? Yeah, we're talking about.
I'm paying attention to the chat. My bad.
I know. The digital game gifting, right?
I mean, Hanson Crab's channel.
Digital game gifting live, but it's region locked, right? So somebody bought me a game. I mooched the game.
Yes.
But they're in a different region, so it allowed them to buy me the game, but I can't redeem the game, and they can't get their money back.
That's because you're still an apprentice of mine, and I actually have the last 4 digits of that code. So please send it this way. No, I don't know.
You wouldn't be able to redeem it.
I sure could. Here's the thing. I think I have one of my
change your region crap. Can you go in?
You can actually do that. You can do. You can change your console to. Someone said change it to Japan or something else, and you can do that, but. I don't know. For some reason, that must be something with a monetary issue, right?
Exchange rates.
Exchange rates. That's the only reason. Because Mike Ibarra came out and somebody attacked Mike of that and said, no, you can't. And Mike came out and he's like, no, we said it would be region locked in certain areas, and there's just our hands are tied. Yeah. And they're like, oh, all right, never mind.
No, so, I mean, I get why they're doing it, but maybe make it so
don't
that
let
if
people buy shit that others can't. You know, don't let people buy something for someone and they can't redeem it.
Right.
And then that person can't go get their money back.
Agree. Well, I don't think that's the situation at all. I think anyone who's had that issue, I think can get their money back. Because usually Microsoft, I mean, they have the return policy. So if you haven't played a code, you can certainly return it.
I don't know. This is what Crap said. I mean, I don't know.
Crap,
I don't know.
Who said this to you?
Someone
you don't have to give the name. You don't have to give the name. Just somebody on Twitter.
Just a fan. No, just a fan. They might be on Twitter. I'm not sure.
I just highly doubt that they're going to allow me play a game for 2 hours, get less than whatever it is, 10% through it, and then be able to return it. And then I'm like, I have a code here. I can't use it. Can I get the money back? No, you're fucked.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know that they're screwed totally, but that's just kind of a they shouldn't really be able to buy it in the first place since it's tied to the gamer tag.
It seems like a lot of hoops to jump through for something that could be easily.
I think what dealer said is right. Like, let's say, okay, so dealer, ends up moving to like Switzerland or something. I'm like, I'm buying dealer Star Wars Battlefront 2. All of a sudden, that exchange rate's not the same. So I go to click on dealer. Dealer's registered in Switzerland. I shouldn't be. It would just be grayed out because it would say, we can't do that. Or, or a pop-up thing will come up and say, I'm sorry, but the region you're picking is not in our program. Please try another area for blah, blah, blah. It's just a quick. Yeah. Like, that's something that it should do. That way, you don't have to worry about exchanges. It's just, it doesn't do it.
Yeah. So I agree. I think that's something that should be made. It was just a little bit of a bummer. I thought that we should talk about Microsoft should maybe look into maybe blocking that if, you know what I mean? If you're in a different kind of region or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, 100%. Let's see. We got, your favorite game, Destiny 2. Although somebody told me you're extremely bored of Destiny 2.
You're listening to the internet way too much, Crap.
Yes, Destiny 2 is getting 4K HDR patch on December 5th, actually.
Actually, just playing it before we started.
Yeah, well, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, like, vindication, you're happy?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, and shout out to Junkie, and me and Junkie had some great conversation on Twitter. I mean, Junkie wasn't the only one. Everyone's like, I'm waiting. I'll wait this out. Well, I mean, personally, I've had 2 people ask me, hey, Mooch, with the whole 4K HDR thing going on and this and that, I'm wondering if I should jump into some Destiny 2. And I'm like, I was like, don't. Like, I mean, because maybe that's where you misconstrued the whole board with it. It's not, I'm not. But like, if I didn't get in on day one, with all these games that we're talking about right now, even Star Wars, Wolfenstein, all these great games are out right now. Assassin's Creed. I mean, Assassin's Creed played right at 60 to 80 hours probably. I mean, what, are you going to now you want to pick up a character and get 1 or 2 characters up to level 305? I mean, like that takes a solid 25 hours, maybe a little less. The second character moves fast because you just move the equipment over. So maybe let's just say 15 hours. And you got to find a group that wants to do that with you. Again, everybody's kind of there. The hardcore Destiny people are already at 305. So it's like, I told everyone, I'm like, just get it. This game's got longevity with DLC. So you're going to enjoy this 4K HDR into 2018.
But you don't know if that DLC is going to be any good, Mooch.
Yeah, it could be bad DLC.
I've got evidence. The DLC for the first one was fantastic. So, and as a matter of fact, it was so good that the second DLC, The Taken King, is what brought Destiny back up to casuals. So, I mean, you can only, like you say, you want to use history as reference to payment. And Destiny has the history, and Star Wars doesn't. But I mean, that's a whole nother argument.
I don't know about
that. Well, I mean, I'm looking to try out Destiny when the update hits. You know what I mean? Like I'm having a trouble with doing like the non-HDR updated games, but just whatever. That's just a me problem.
World problem.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it totally is.
Patches that need to absolutely hit sooner than later is Fallout 4, Skyrim.
Yeah,
I held off on Skyrim. I held off on Skyrim remastered. Yeah. So
Witcher 3 needs to get here soon.
I'm about the quarter of the way through another playthrough in Skyrim, and I held off after I found out they were getting a patch, so I'm waiting to play that again until afterwards.
So what's the deal with the run that at 60 frames? There's no reason at all that should not be able to do 60 frames in the X.
Skyrim should easily be able to do Ultra 60 all day on the X. No problem.
If
they try to do 60 on that.
So what's your guys? What are they promising us as far as Skyrim? What are they giving us?
They're not giving us any specifics on frame rate, but the Pro was that there was no 60 frames mode on the Pro.
Yeah.
And even on the Pro, I think Skyrim should be able to do 60. So
right.
Oh yeah, because it's Skyrim. I mean, it's not like it's a. I mean, it's a good game, but it's not
initially coded to work on a triple core CPU. So I don't see why they would have problems having enough CPU overhead.
If you loaded up Skyrim on the Xbox One X, if it would play at a higher frame rate.
It's locked.
Is it? Yeah, okay, gotcha.
City Skylines wasn't locked on. That's destroying 60 frames per second right now.
Yeah, I heard it was even higher than 60 frames.
Well, I mean, I don't know what it's at because I don't have something higher than 60 hertz. But man, it feels like it wants to blow well past 60.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna have to go back and try that myself because I like that game. It's just like I got into other games and
the trees don't pop in anymore either because of the texture filtering boost.
Yeah. Did you see the Arc stuff? I know Arc is like incredibly like hard on systems and stuff, but the Arc comparison between the regular Xbox One and the One X, like the regular Xbox One, like all the pop in and everything looks
shimmers off the screen during the comparison.
Yeah, it does. It looks like you got Vaseline on the screen, right? I'm like, holy shit. And then
that game still feels unfinished, though. I will say. I mean, it just
I can't believe that game felt like that forever, though, right? Like even on the PC version.
Leave it in preview then, because it doesn't feel like a finish. Not even close to finish.
Did they actually take it out of preview?
Yeah, it's launched like in August. It launched.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Dude, when I first played that game, it was like 410p or something. I don't know. It was really bad, and the frame rate was all over the place. And I played it for a little while. Some people really got into it, like Tim Dog. That dude played it for like 3 months straight, like all night.
I turned the game on, showed up on the beach naked. It was pitch freaking black, and I think I got killed repeatedly by some freaking turtle. I was like, "Frig this game."
Oh, you couldn't see the textures taking 2 minutes to load in on the ground then, so that was a positive.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, look, I'm just saying it looks like a lot different and better. So, and that's a very,
I think a good game. I think a good game to show a big difference on is Final Fantasy. That game looks amazing on the X versus the stock version.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think it looks absolutely fantastic.
Mafia 3 looks really good too.
Did Mafia? Play Mafia 3?
I already beat it.
I just picked it up.
Well, let me ask a question though. Crap, remember all the problems that they were having? Like the sun looked like a tequila sunrise at some point, and some other shit. Is that all still a problem?
Mm-hmm. I think it's been patched the way it looks, but that specific thing you're talking about, because I was like, what the fuck's going on? Is the world melting? No, it was just how the game was, and I think it's still there, but it's just not as bad. But they did add high-resolution textures, which I don't think the Pro got. They added more particles. They actually added PC settings to the next version. HDR runs at a much higher resolution than the Pro. So
frame rate seems to be a lot steadier too. Because I was messing with that a few hours earlier today. I played about like 30 minutes or so, even though I already beat everything on it. Just kind of
going. I want to play it, but I'm waiting until Black Friday sales on the dashboard to pick it up again. Does it look really good on the X?
It looks really good to me. I mean, it looks a lot better than it did before.
I need to reinstall that yet. So what's funny is Hellhammer pointed out to me, and I already told this story a little bit. The collector's edition of that was on sale for like $29, and I bought the PS4 version just because I already had it on Xbox One because it came with a lot of cool shit. And I was like, yeah, that way I can play it again or whatever it is, Pro Enhanced too. But I like that game that much. Like I put so much time into that game. It was just a phenomenal story.
Which one did you put into?
Pro version.
The Mafia 3. I put 80 hours into that game or something like that. Like all the DLC.
Everything about it was great, but I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of at a point right now, and I let's continue the first world problems debate here.
Yeah,
I'm at a point right now where, like, if I look up in a game and all of a sudden it looks like somebody spilled tomato sauce, I think I haven't
had that issue. To be honest, like
I've seen it. No, because I played the demo.
Yeah,
there was
I've
glitching in and out.
I've heard people say about it, but I had never actually noticed it myself in my playthrough.
The demo is not enhanced either. Keep that in mind.
Right. I'm not gonna like deter anybody from, but myself personally as a consumer, like if a game is doing that kind of behavior from a top-notch studio, I'm not buying it. Like I'm just not. I don't care. And I love the music in it. I think the story is decent. I don't think it's anything crazy. I think it's all the Mafia stories for the most part. I mean, like even all the classics that are great, right? Godfather's great. Goodfellas is great. Kind of follows the same mantra. So you only take it so far. When you have the glitching and the ridiculousness that was going on in even the demo. I was hiding behind that. I think that first one there, it's not a jail or a bank or something like that, but you go in and you're doing something. You have to hide behind the crates and kind of shoot the people from far away.
That was like the prologue mission.
Yeah, well, I was glitching in and out of it. Like, so I was like, well, this is
fixed.
Yeah. Say again?
I think most of that stuff's been patched and fixed.
I hope so. I hope so for the game's sake, because like you said, the music in it alone is awesome.
It is. It's phenomenal.
It is. It's amazing. He's got Hendrix. He's got the Rolling Stones. It's got
everything good stuff that actually took talent to make. It's phenomenal.
And I have it on vinyl because that was part of what was included in the collector's edition. So yeah, that's pretty fucking awesome. Okay. I don't know if we covered this before, but no holiday bundles on Xbox for Xbox One X. I don't know, like maybe throw in a game there if you could, or I understand no special edition, but I was a little bit like, why not any bundles? This is kind of perplexing. What do you guys think?
For the
They
X,
don't have to. They don't have to.
You're
getting your money's worth with the hardware, and everyone knows that. Even Review Titties USA said you can't build a PC for that price. So you're definitely getting your money's worth for the hardware. It's already a hot commodity. Now wait until Christmas.
Well,
wait until Black Friday. People are going to pick it up while they're out, So
like I said before, and I think it's evident now by seeing some of the Black Friday deals on the S, that Microsoft is not worried about the X. The X is doing quite well right now. Even at a premium price, it's doing really well. I think Microsoft is really trying to right now ship out a lot of those, the S units. Are trying to build a fan base, and eventually a lot of those S owners probably will upgrade to the X maybe next year when the X does have bundles and things like that. So you can kind of see that right now there seems to be more focus on, yes, selling plenty of S's, and they will be the big seller this holiday season because they are dirt cheap. I mean, I think $189 US, $225 I think Canadian. That is like that's a must buy price. I mean, even if you're going out now and you have an X already, and say maybe, or and you just want to pick up an S for the bedroom or for your kids or for another TV, man. I tell you,
if you just need a or if you just need an extra 4K Blu-ray player.
Blu-ray player, man. You can't go wrong with that price.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I agree 100%. I think that it's I don't understand why. I still like, I guess hopefully next year. Do you guys think they'll do something next year, like custom console or something like that?
Yes.
Anthem or
probably.
They do a Halo. Let's say Halo does come out. Why not? Or if Forza Horizon 4 comes out, don't waste your time this time by waiting months before you do the custom one or whatever. Yeah. Just come out with the custom console right at the launch.
Too, like if you want the X, don't wait months or a year to get it. Like you got to keep in mind, you might save $50 to $100 if you're lucky, but you're also buying a bunch of games that you're not experiencing at the level that we are currently. Right. Yeah. So while you might save some money, you're not getting as much for the money that you spent, because you're not getting as much time as everyone else with it before the next console comes around. So if you wait 2 years, you just paid 3/4 of the money we did for half of the time that we got.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good point, actually.
It is. Yeah. It's actually a damn good point. So, okay, here we go. Game Awards. Mooch will probably like this one. If I don't get a rant out of him on this, I don't know what the hell to say. Mooch, what do you think? What do you think about this, Mooch? So they announced this stuff. PUBG is in there running for Game of the Year.
PUBG,
Horizon. Yeah, PUBG. I mean, I get it. It's sold a lot, but it's not even a complete game yet, so you could argue that. Mario, Zelda, Horizon Zero Dawn. Microsoft had a light year on software, so you can kind of understand that. Although Forza 7 is in running for best sports/racing game. Cuphead in a few different categories. Halo Wars 2 is in the strategy game category. What's your thoughts just overall on this shit, Mooch?
Well, I mean, I see people getting really upset with the categories. The categories, it irked me, but so slightly, because it's the third year in a row where Microsoft hasn't made the Game of the Year. Which, don't get me wrong, this year alone, I mean, let's be honest, they don't think they. Yeah, they're not really in. They weren't really in the running for Game of the Year this year. That's fine, but like then the one that got me, and shout out to Demon Wolf for this. He actually showed it to me because I that Jeff Keighley, man, it's hard to listen to him for a few minutes. He said to me, you know, what's crazy, Mooch, is that the most anticipated games didn't have an Xbox game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute, you're telling me Sea of Thieves, which is supposed to be like this new open world an MMO style game,
and it's coming early next year,
pushing the graphics early next year. Well, so State of Decay 2 and and Crackdown 3, and a Crackdown 3, which that's fine. If you don't like Crackdown 3, that's fine, but you have to at least give respect to the title for what it is. It's an Xbox fan favorite. It's one of their classics.
The only way that game would make it in that list is if they showed us the multiplayer, because that's the only part of that game that's really going to grab the mainstream.
I agree with you, Dealer. But there's other games that were in that.
Those are the only games we have pretty much announced for next year. So,
but not one. You're not going to put one in there.
I mean, State of Decay is phenomenal, but it's not exactly mainstream.
I think Sea of Thieves is the most anticipated.
A lot of people don't like Sea of Thieves. I mean, Shannon Loftus, I thank Shannon Loftus for all your hard work. I like these.
But do they like about it? But when I think of most anticipated, I think of like stepping out on a limb and doing something different. And what's the most?
State of Decay 2 is going to be, if it's just what the first one was with co-op and the additions they've made. It's already the best zombie game of all time. The first one still is to this day. Right. The State of Decay 2 is going to be the best game of the first half for Xbox. Crackdown, if the multiplayer works, that could be a contender, and that's some next level shit, as we've seen from that footage they revealed years ago. But that's the problem. We haven't seen anything since then. And then you got Sea of Thieves, which, that's not for everyone. I understand why it's not in there. And then you compare that to like God of War and Spider-Man and who knows what the fuck else.
The other thing that was troublesome about it, I mean, that's fine. Everyone can, that was two big snubs. Microsoft got snubbed last year. They got snubbed this year in a different category. And then you have they showed the pictures of the presenters or the special guests. Maybe not the presenters, and you had Vince Zampella. I don't know about you guys, but I sure as hell am going to do a lot better things on a Thursday night than watch Vince Zampella come up and talk about whatever the fuck
that's $400 million payoff. Why do we even? It's Jeff Keighley on cable TV talking the video game awards. Okay, nobody gives a fuck. Like, who cares what they nominate?
I thought it was kind of funny that they made this big old announcement and everybody's getting their like panties up in a knot over the freaking orchestra coming back. I was like, oh my
Mooch God. Did he was like, oh, you guys borrowed the orchestra from Sony?
Yeah. That's why the Snake Charmers are back.
Well, they got a deal. It was a 2-for-1. I think
who's hanging from the ceiling this year?
Well, I want to know who's going to win tightest shirt, okay? Because Layden may not be there, so I don't know. You got that going on. You've also got. Then we got to do the half-an-hour love fest, Kojima. It's just it's the same show. Like that was what I was saying. Same show, same orchestra, same presenters. Same special guests and the same Sony ass kissing. I don't know about you guys.
People take that shit seriously, though.
But I've seen this show already.
Since Uncharted 4 got beat by Overwatch that year, I was like, nope, never watching this again. Uncharted 4 got beat by Overwatch. That's insane to me. So I just decided never to pay attention to it ever again.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple reasons. If that's dealers, that's an honorable reason to not watch it. But there's a million others that I just mentioned. That's one. That's a good one.
The main thing is the awards and stuff like that. They don't mean shit because that's just the awards that they've handed to a few people.
The opinion awards.
Yeah, basically.
I voted for Mario, and then I voted for Cuphead mostly. And then it's like somehow Andrew Renee made it for whatever. She's in the running for whatever the hell that is. Trending gamer.
It really is the opinion awards. Like if my girl ran that show, Slime Rancher would be in every category and it would win. That just shows you like you like what you like. Who cares if it's not on there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
but the thing is though, and crap, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but like Dealer makes a good point in saying that if what you like isn't on there, that's no big deal. True, but like what we're all accustomed to with the Emmys and the Grammys and the Oscars is there's always that one, right? There's like blah 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 with Schwarzenegger and then blah 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 Bruce Willis action, and you're like, oh, these are all big movies, and there's Ben Affleck movie, but then there's always one that's like The Silent Patient from Guatemala, and you're like, oh, what? What is it? And you're like, I've never even heard of that one. Yeah, and sometimes it does, but you have 4 or 5 other movies that you're like, oh yeah, that belongs there. Oh yeah. Then you watch Jeff Keighley's nominations with the people that are voting on those, and you're like, what? Like what?
A bunch of trash is not.
Yeah, it's like all of them are The English Patient. I'm like, come on, what the? Something's got to be different. Like, get not one big blockbuster. And like you said last year, I agree with you. Uncharted 4 should have won. Yeah, I mean, or at least that one. Overwatch shouldn't have. Yeah. And I'm not.
Nice to see Cuphead getting recognized in a few categories.
Did you see that the developers are like, yeah, we're gonna make Cuphead 2 for sure, and like the comments all of a sudden from the media and everybody's like, PS4, please. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I'm already seeing reviews for Battlefront on the Xbox One X. I mean, people are already switching over to the Xbox for their reviews. Yeah. It's kind of fucking funny.
Yeah,
people blow with the wind, man.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? I put that in my stuff, like Xbox One X or enhanced. It's you know what I mean? Like better on the X because this shit is. You know, like that's just
even
that's
the
just
Sony marketing deals. The PS4 Pro is getting crushed on its own system.
You guys think PUBG stands a chance in hell of actually getting that game of the year?
No, probably not because Zelda's.
I think Mario's taking it. To be honest, I think it's going to be Super Mario.
I think Zelda's going to take it. To be honest with you, because everybody was so high up on that game. You know what I mean? Like I voted Mario. But I could definitely see Zelda and his little stick that breaks and him running out of breath. You know what I mean? I just don't want to see Horizon Zero Dawn win it.
There is Link himself, but he can't make it up the stairs. So he'll have to get next year.
Gotta eat a donut on the way for extra stamina. Then you run out of stamina eating the donut.
Yeah, back cooking up a new potion.
Whenever I bring that up, people are like, "No, man, it's the best game ever," and I'm like, "Okay, man, if you think so, it's just."
I mean, I'm comparing it to Witcher, and it doesn't do anything as good as The Witcher. I'm sorry, get the fuck out of here.
Well, you know what, Dealer? Here's something that's funny, right? And you'll find this funny. Like I brought this up on BGST, and of course, if you know the chat there, they're not very intelligent. So I was like, you know, why is it that everybody's like, yeah, man, Microsoft really needs to wake up with the single-player games. They suck at those. And then nobody ever says Sony needs to wake up with multiplayer games. They suck at those. And when I brought that up, the Sony fanboys were like, that's because third-party does those much better. And I'm like, what? Witcher 3 is a prime example of one of the best games this generation, third-party. A lot of you know what I mean? They're doing just as good.
It's one of the best games, not the best game ever made, third-party. Bar none. Overall, it's just one of the best games ever made. Easily crushes anything Sony's made, in my opinion, and I got them all. I'm just saying that, you know, that's where the opinion thing comes in. You know, it's just it hit my button.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of funny, in my opinion, anyway, that people kind of like flip out over that kind of stuff or whatever. But I want to change up to we've got Armature Studios, the Recore developer. They're teasing a big announcement coming tomorrow.
Listen,
what do you guys think it is?
Recore 2. If it's Recore 2, great. But my only question is this: why would you pick tomorrow? First of all, second of all, if they come out and say anything about Xbox One enhanced Recore of what we have, they can kiss my ass.
It's already enhanced.
It was up-resed or whatever, but it hasn't been Xbox One X enhanced.
Yeah, it's 4K on the X.
I thought it was only 1080p.
No. I think they're
it's not.
If it's not enhanced yet, then
does anybody have their Xbox on? If you go to enhanced games, it's not on there.
It's not there yet, but the patch has already been confirmed.
I'm actually looking at my Xbox right now. I believe I see it in there.
No, the patch was confirmed forever ago. They need to quit worrying about Recore. And what did they use? The Unity engine last time?
Well, here's the thing. Why would they want to talk about Recore 2 tomorrow? if you have something explosive.
Yeah, it's not listed yet.
No, I mean, and the dealer's saying that they've had it, but I mean, every company says they have it. My thing is this: if that's what they're going to do tomorrow, I'll be like, guess what? Enjoy your Xbox One X. Recore.
The patch is not big enough news for any kind of, shit. Better games get patches every day. So
I agree with you.
Do that.
Do you think they would actually mention Recore?
Mechanical dog.
What do you get for Recore? Why would you say Recore 2 on like November, whatever tomorrow is?
Why would you say Recore 2? That's the question.
Yeah, I mean,
I think. Listen, I'm gonna go ahead and rebuttal that one. I mean, Recore 2 with about a shit ton more money thrown at it. A
different game.
Yes, with the same mechanics though, and the same girl. Like keep the girl and keep the mechanics, and
needs a new engine.
Change everything else. Yes, change everything else.
Wasn't that made on the Unity engine?
Yeah, it was made on the Unity.
Fucking trash. Get that Unity engine. It is trash.
But I mean, I still thought the game handled well, shot well. I just thought it was just a blah background, blah story. But the girl is a great, like, that's their Tomb Raider hypothetically.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, don't say
Well,
that.
I mean,
It can be. You have to look at a base. Listen, when J.K. Rowling was coming out with fucking what's his face there, it was just a dorky kid with wacky glasses and a wand.
I mean, maybe,
All right, and he turned it into something.
maybe
I'm just saying, like,
Laura Croft's special cousin is supposed to be wearing a helmet, but she took it off and she got lost. Like, I wouldn't compare it to Tomb Raider at all, but you know,
I'm saying, I'm not comparing it to Tomb Raider. I'm saying it's their Tomb Raider.
They could turn it into something like that.
Yeah, they have caves and caverns and digging and getting artifacts and blah blah, but it's futuristic based
with a fuck ton of effort. Yeah.
No, it's called Cash.
Yeah.
Their announcement is big news coming from Armature Studios tomorrow. Make sure to keep an eye out here to see what we're doing next. Woo!
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think the main news is
Recore, the Super Ultimate Edition.
The definitive edition.
A definitive edition.
It is
That
definitive.
sounds like something Sony would do. Like, fucking, hey, it's The Last of Us 2 remastered, super mastered, fucking.
Super Masters.
Yeah. Somebody just dropped the code, but because this chat was like, is this proper?
Up and down.
Yeah, so I don't know. Good luck if you can find it. It looked like it was a KOTOR code. Somebody messaged me and they go, crap, I hear you talk about KOTOR or some kind of like that. What the hell game is that? I'm searching for it.
KOTOR.
And they had it all, yeah, like all kind of spelled back. I'm like, KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars, you know what I mean? So, Fish Tacos.
KOTOR
says-
game you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. It says Cuphead was made from Unity Engine, but that's a 2D like side-scrolling game. So I think that's
Unity Engine has its place where if you use it on the right genre, but like for instance, like Unity Engine is what Super Lucky's Tale is made on, right? It's fine for platforms.
And the avatars, the new avatars are made
yeah.
with Unity Engine.
It's like the Frostbite engine. It doesn't work great for every type of game. Some games, yes. Some games, no. I don't understand why EA got to use Frostbite for all the freaking sports games.
Mm-hmm. I mean, any kind of talent behind the engine, I'm sure can make it look great or whatever, customize it, mod it. But you know, they just look at Recore. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't gotta say nothing.
yeah. Well, I mean, I thought it looked better after the patch, but I did think that we already got the patch for that. Right? Like we did get an update.
The Recore patch we got, shout out to D-Batch. He said it was we got the HDR patch.
Yeah.
We didn't get a 4K patch.
What you're noticing is, and that's something I wanted to touch on real quick, is when Microsoft say old games do look better, they're not lying. Like boot up Witcher 3, right? That game runs at a consistent 1080p now. You can see the texture filtering, which is automatic across all games. State of Decay, same thing. You can see the cracks in the ground. The textures on the ground are much better, and at a distance, they're better. So if you're in Novigrad or any city, now everything's 1080p all the time, runs rock solid. And that extends to like State of Decay. When you boot it up and you got to load the game into the RAM, and it does chug for about 10 seconds. But after that, the game, you can see cracks in the ground you never saw before. Like old games really do look better with no patch at all. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. And they run better too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not just bullshit. That's like, you know, that's 100% the truth. You know? So like fucking phenomenal. You know, like, everything looks so much better on that game. I'm excited for it. Like I said, every day is almost like Christmas with the Xbox One X. You wake up, what's patched today? You know, like we got Overwatch, like the biggest game, one of the biggest games around. That's going to get patched 4K as well.
Yeah.
You know,
no, it's nice to see that. I mean, PUBG, to be honest with you, I know we talk about it a lot, but the anticipation for that is growing for me personally. I mean, I do think that'll do very well. It's just a nice game that you can pick up, play. Like there's nights where you're like, okay, I don't want to get like knee deep into Assassin's Creed, right? Or even something Evil Within. You don't want to just get into that story and get it, because when you get started with some of these games, you got to play them for almost an hour and a half, 2 hours minimum.
Oh, yeah.
You're playing them, right? Even Witcher, and you get invested into it. And there's certain nights, like tonight, for example. So you get done with Xbox Nation 10 o'clock, or you get home from work at 10 o'clock. You only got till like midnight to stay up. You got to work tomorrow. So it's like, what can I play for an hour and feel like I actually did something? And if you get up to like the top 10 in PUBG, like you make yourself, you know, you feel like you did something. You had a lot of fun, and it's no nonsense. Next time you pick it up, you start back from ground zero like everybody else. Those types of games are really refreshing and nice to have in your library. Does it mean you're going to be addicted to it, play it every day? No, I don't think so. But I think it's a game that's always going to be a go back to game. Great for going to be for like game nights and streaming and things like that on the Xbox. That's going to be fun. So I think that PUBG for Microsoft is a huge selling point, and that's something that still has me amped along with the Destiny update in December. December is going to be a good month.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think it's going to be fun, and I think it's going to be
refreshing.
I'm really excited to see how the NPD shakes out. You know what I mean? Because
that's interesting.
I could end up eating a little bit of crow there, but I don't think I'm going to. I think it's going to be fun.
Well, it's Nintendo, right? Nintendo's the only threat.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's hard.
Oh,
to say.
I would love to see a PS4 potentially in a 4th or 5th place situation behind like a SNES Mini and a 3DS and a Xbox One X and a Atari Flashback console.
Game Boy Advance. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I would love to see just for shits and giggles. I think it'd be funny. If you don't agree, that's fine. But I just personally think that'd be funny, and I live for funny.
Right.
So I think that'd be fucking hilarious.
You think they would enjoy their system less if it placed lower in the NPD? Because that's what
dude, they enjoy it less already just because of the resolution and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You guys should just switch over now. You'll be having a great time day one.
Well, they are. They're all switching over. You know how many people message me like, "Crap, I'm getting an Xbox One X," or "I got an Xbox One X because of you," or whatever. And I'm like, "Cool, thanks." I mean, I don't get any kind of money from that. I wish I did, but hey, I appreciate it. You know what I mean? So with the Xbox One X doing what seems to be well and much better than the PS4 Pro, PS5 rumors are starting to kick up. This seems like. Damn you,
Clint Eastwood. Graphics matter the least.
Yes. Graphics don't matter anymore, but damn if the PS5 isn't coming out in 2019 with a 2018 February announcement or something like that. I don't know.
I still stick to my. Has Sony said anything, or this is just the,
This is just bullshit.
It's all
internet.
Bullshit. Yeah.
Well, because here's the thing. If you look at what Ubisoft recently did something too, right? They said, well, we're minimum 2 years, but likely more than 2 years away from anything.
Yeah, I thought they said it'd be minimum 2 years before they heard anything about it.
Yeah.
So that's the actual opposite of what a lot of Sony fans are saying. Ubisoft is saying, hey, and the very soonest you're going to hear anything about it, meaning whispers from Sony, is 2019.
Yeah.
And that means that the thing's not going to be out that year, most likely.
I mean, the thing is look, it makes no sense.
Woo,
right?
Woo bot.
Roll out.
I am a robot. Hellhammer. Yeah. So you know what? Like for me, I thought it was funny because they're all like, "Oh, it don't even matter because you can't even tell the difference in resolution. It it totally doesn't matter. The Pro is just as good." Hey, Sony, when are you gonna get that fucking PS5 out, man?
Yeah,
get your ass kicked.
You can't tell the difference between that extra ambient occlusion, better shadows, and much higher pixel density on Call of Duty. I mean, you can't tell this shit now.
Hopefully, the PS5 allows for like the 4K assets and stuff like that because, as we know, that's the biggest game changer for the Xbox One X right now. And, I just like Mooch, what is your thoughts on like the PS5 thing? Like, I mean, honestly.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is this, if Sony fans are really, really wishing for 2019, they're screwing themselves over because whatever Sony's going to give you, think about it. If they're going to go into full production in 2019, the whole thing's got to be like thought about, created, boxed, labeled, this, that, the whole nine, the marketing slogan, all by the end of 2018, if not sooner. And if you're doing that, you're really not going to be able to put much more power in the box for the cost, for the price point than the X has got. So what'll happen is PS5 will come out barely or just match the X. Even if it goes a smidgen over, it won't be enough. And then in 2 years, Microsoft will trounce them again. So
in 1 year,
or 1 year, but
the next year you're getting curved. Your PS5 just got curb stomped again.
Right. I mean, I think if you're a Sony fan, this sucks to hear. You're not going to like it, but you got to wait till 2020 at the earliest.
Yeah. I mean, that's just it, right? Like, I mean, compared, like the PS5 compared to, say, the PS4 Pro is probably going to be a significant upgrade, much like the Xbox One X is a pretty damn significant upgrade to the S model. But that's just it. I mean, now that the X is out, I mean, really, like, you've got to say, how much better will the PS5 actually be than the X? I mean, yes, will it be better? I can't see it being worse, that sort of thing. But you have to wonder, like, how much tech can they stuff in the box in 2 years' time that they also can get it in at a reasonable price cost, because they're probably going to want to come in, like I said, 500 or less guaranteed. And like the fact that, said we've got a 6 teraflop engine here, 12 gigs of RAM. Like, I mean, where is that ceiling? Like, obviously they have to start having their dev kits. Like, they must be already working on it. They must have some idea what tech they have, and have to estimate where the prices are going to be tech wise in 2 years' time. And I don't suspect we'll see a PS5 Earliest, it'd be 2019. That would be earliest. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't slip till at least 2020.
There's one obvious upgrade that PS5 could have, and that's and this is the reason that we've always told. Well, I have always said you're not going to see PS5 in 2018, like a lot of these guys said. Well, we'll hear about it in 2017, and the Xbox One X or Scorpio at the time will be irrelevant. Didn't happen. You won't hear about it next year either, probably. No, and this is why I've always said this, because AMD do have a technology roadmap. We don't just pull the shit out of our asses. Everything I've said has pretty much come to fruition, if you remember. So AMD do have this roadmap. It does include, like I said before, Ryzen APUs, and that's what's going to be in the next consoles. And that means you're going to have more options from 60 frames per second in probably every game, at least an option in most games.
This guy in the chat, you checking this out? He says 12 to 16 teraflops and 16 gigs of RAM. You think that's even feasible?
12 teraflops is
he's a troll. He's a troll, no.
In 3 years, 12 teraflops is feasible. But here's the thing: the RAM. I don't know if they would go with 16, but it just doesn't matter because the next year it's outdone already. Again, just like what Xbox One X just did.
Yeah, it's the same like that. The problem is because they all are bitching about the $500 price tag on the X, and then think that the PS5. Then they think the PS5 would be like cheaper than that with all the shit that they're spouting. Hell no.
What they're hoping for is they're like we want a 24 teraflop, 128 gigabytes of VRAM console for 99 cents. 99 cents.
Yeah. That's a bargain. That's a bargain.
Yeah. And remember, the PS5, when it comes out, it will be a 4K machine. It's not going to be an 8K machine at that point. We're not going to see 8K for a while yet. So, like, you're still comparing a 4K machine to a 4K machine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And so, like, the Xbox One X is in a good position because right now, even though some people might be down on it, like, oh, well, look, not every game is 4K or whatever. A lot of these are... and they didn't have a ton of time with it or whatever. I'm still confident that next year we're going to see the games that are really kind of impressive and built from the ground up with the X, and those are going to be the games they're going to look great and show off the console and what it's capable of. And it's real, like the gap is going to get bigger. You know what I mean?
It's the software at that point. You know,
the complaint over the games, not everything being 4K or whatever the case may be, right? Like, there's already a very good selection of games that are already enhanced or upgraded to be in 4K or better graphical fidelity or whatever the case may be. And like the difference in games between what I have and what I'm playing and whatever. I mean, you already got a large amount of games to play. So just play the new shit, wait for the patches to come.
Yeah. So you're 100% right. So you know what I mean? It's like, and it's so funny that one day people are like, that ain't even going to matter because, you know, the Pro is not that much less powerful, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, you know, the next breath, they're like secretly starting petitions to start a PS5.
They lose either way because the Xbox One was less than half a teraflop weaker than the PS4. Now you're talking 2 teraflops and more RAM and a faster hard drive and all this other shit. You just lose. You lose if you even open your mouth about it's not that much more. I can't see the pixels because that wasn't an option with you before.
Mm-hmm.
So except for now, you're getting 4K assets and Tomb Raider and you can't look at Shadow War and say that's not a big deal. You can't say these things. It's impossible.
Right.
Witcher 3 has several more features on the Xbox One X as well. Like it's week 2, guys. It's not gonna get any better. No,
it's not. And we're already seeing like developers like and this was a topic too. Up to 100% resolution boost on some games on some certain parts, like Assassin's Creed Origins, Wolfenstein 2. Wolfenstein 2 is locked at 1440 on the Pro, and it's basically 4K almost all the way through on the Xbox One X.
Yeah. But those guys are going to see the drop and the low and say that's what it runs at around 1800p the whole time. No, Digital Foundry say it right there in their video. They are surprised how much it holds 4K. And more importantly, because it is so much more capable, those extra pixels in the future are going to keep resolutions more tolerable and keep graphics features up for longer on the X over the Pro. It is much more future-proof as a result. So that's something else people aren't really thinking about.
And they're also what they're not thinking about is how and shout out to Stop 6 Doc for the $20, and he says you might drop some codes here soon, so stick around and open your tabs.
We got
for
a
that.
pimp in the chat.
Yeah, Mooch is gonna start. He's gonna start. He's already got his shit open, and
I've already got like 7 different letters ready to go.
Yeah, he's ready to go into the code or whatever.
But, hook the keyboard up to the Xbox or type that.
I can type with my feet. That's mooching.
A lot of people don't realize this too. Like when the next Xbox comes out, all the stuff that's dynamic 4K will be native 4K. You know, just like the stuff that was dynamic 1080p got native 1080p because it's going to be stronger hardware. So that's something that people aren't realizing as well. So we're set up for the foreseeable future, and I'm not at all hating their idea behind what they're doing with the bring all your games, all your shit with you. And you know what I mean, and show it off, because I love that. I think it's absolutely phenomenal.
That's why I like those frame rate cap options, because in the future, maybe next gen, you know, you could uncap whatever game you want, play it at 60 frames or whatever. You know, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. So hey, Xbox One X is going to have PS4. Microsoft is in a much better spot. If Sony hits reset, Microsoft's going to be like, hey, well, we got this powerful 4K machine too, and you get to take all your shit with you.
Right.
You know, like Sony. I'm sure that they'll do backwards compatibility with the PS4, but that's probably where it's going to cut off, because Sony's MO has always been, you want to play the latest and greatest PlayStation.
You know, it's funny you say that crap. That's a great, and Hellhammer kind of reimbursed that thought I was just about to say in saying maybe, like, if this was Microsoft, if the roles were reversed and Sony was doing all of their PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4 games all back compat, and if you have the game, you put it in, you play it. If you put it in, you can play it. People be like, is Microsoft really are they gonna start to do this soon? Like, what's their problem? When is Microsoft gonna catch up to Sony and giving back? Like, we haven't heard anything from Sony about forward compatibility, backward compatibility, but everyone says what you said, and I don't blame you, crap. That makes logical sense. But where's the media
Not according
right
to
now?
Jim Ryan. He says, who the fuck wants to play old games?
Exactly. We have heard from Sony's what Dealer just said, which negates it. So, I mean, realistically, coming from like the history repeats itself, is Sony going to give people the right to bring their PS4 games with them? You go, of course they will. You say that. I think they will, but we don't know that. And Sony's not been open about it.
Technical standpoint,
absolutely.
Though, it's x86 now, not Cell. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
I think they'll bring it forward.
Technical standpoint,
you're right.
but
Jim Ryan putting his foot in his mouth constantly. Who wants to play old games? He literally said that, a Sony executive. Right. So think about that for a second. You know, that's kind of telling. Even I still think it'll come, but still, it's crazy.
It is like maybe they'll want you to pay for that shit though. You know what I mean?
PS Now again.
Yeah, PS Now. Hey, who wants to play old shit unless it's streaming over PS Now? You know what I mean? That's the future.
I told you they were going to work that in eventually, where you could download shit locally to your device, just like Game Pass. It's probably a couple years out, but it'll happen.
Yeah, I can imagine something like that happening. Will it be widely accepted? I don't know. Like, I have no interest in doing that shit.
They're way behind either way you put it. So in terms of software and their innovation on that front, so don't matter.
I agree 100%. Hey, guess what? Xbox Live turned 15, Xbox turned 16, and Halo CE turned 16 today, guys. Good stuff, huh? Like, what Mooch? Tell me some of your experiences with Xbox Live and Halo and Xbox. I mean, 16 years, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, first and foremost, it is a great accomplishment, Xbox Live. That's the one, if you want to say tip the hat to. That's the main reason I've said this, and I think you've agreed with me. Everyone that's done podcasting with all of us have all agreed in one way, shape, form, or another that we all enjoy the social aspect of gaming. And it doesn't mean you don't like to just cozy up and play a single player. I get that too. But for the most part, multiplayer is a big part of what we all do. And to be honest with you, like Xbox Live is when I first got became privy to Xbox Live, I was like, this is where I want to be. To this day, I don't think PlayStation gives that kind of online experience. I mean, the social part of it. Yes, you can get on, you can play a game online. I get it. But Microsoft did it first. And it's not who does it first, it's who does it best, but they happen to do both. So I'd like to tip my cap to that. On another note, can we stop wishing things that aren't alive a birthday? I'm just saying, like, how many times? Come on, PlayStation turned 25, get a candle. Hey, come on, Halo 3 turned 26, get a candle.
Mooch, you gotta
stop it. Let's just stop it. It's not
21. Give it some bunker.
Exactly right. You know, I mean, like, it's like how many every day something gets a birthday. This is ridiculous. You know, it's like, come on. The vice president who started Xbox, his toupee turned 13 yesterday. Somebody get him a fucking birthday cake.
Here's the thing, right?
Just stop it.
Xbox changed everything, right? Xbox Live changed everything. It just did. You know,
Happy birthday, mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, beverage cup.
Oh, okay.
Come on. I mean, isn't it? And PlayStation did it like 8 years. How many? I swear to God, how many freaking PlayStation birthdays has there been in the past 3 years? PlayStation 1, 25. PlayStation 2, 25. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. I don't understand all that nonsense. I don't get it.
Mooch is not sentimental, but this does sound like a good rundown topic, so that'll be fun.
That'll be a great. Yeah, write that down. Take a picture.
I am gonna write that shit down because I'm gonna
make sure you pick up your copy of the Duke.
The Duke.
How old's that?
Oh, that's 16.
Oh, it can drive. Cool.
Yeah, hell yeah, it can.
Nice.
Yeah,
that thing should be hitting stores sometime sooner, isn't it?
It's 16, so people in NeoGAF will love it. Boom!
Oh,
yeah. So the last thing,
back memories, man, it's pretty awesome.
It does.
I remember getting my original X, and I had a PS2 first. I had it for a little while, and I had no idea. I mean, because I didn't really back then in 2001, I really had no idea who the frig Xbox was.
Crapgamer was the biggest PlayStation mark back in the PS2 era.
Oh, I love my PS2, man. I mean, I remember like Grand Theft Auto 3 and a bunch of those games, but then this big behemoth of the system came out, and I remember I sort of like bypassed the original Halo, but then I got into Halo 2 and Xbox Live. Basically, between Halo 2 and Xbox Live, that changed my life. It changed the way I gamed, and Xbox ever since then has been my go-to platform of choice, and just it keeps getting better. But you know, that console has a special place in my heart, and there's lots of games that I remember, Ninja Gaiden and Halo 2. You know, you got Conquer Live and Reloaded, and you know, Crimson Skies. There's so many great games, and it was just a great console, and yeah, I have fond memories of that one.
Hell yeah, dude, I do too.
Speaking of it, why the hell isn't Conquer backwards compat yet? Damn.
I don't know.
It's probably coming. I'm sure
I'm sure they're working
because
on
the version they put in the rare replay was the N64 version, which is fine, but
weird.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't look as good. It's got them N64 textures.
Yeah.
Plus
Plus they improved a lot of stuff with the other one too, didn't they? Like camera angles and different things as well.
Yeah, they did
So,
that.
Oh, dude, as if I didn't like wrestling enough, right? You guys might not care or know who this guy is. Named AJ Styles. He's the champ right now. So Xbox sent him an Xbox One X, right? He's like, yeah, look, I got this beast, thanks. And someone tweets him, PS4 is better, champ. And he goes, whether you want to believe it or not, the Xbox One X is the most powerful console available. Like, I mean, come on, I'm retweeting that shit. If you ain't following this guy, then come on, man. AJ Styles, he's the champ, man. He finally he dethroned Jinder Mahal, who was like the worst champ of all time. Like why the hell is this guy?
I have no clue. Any of these.
Did you see that nice one that they gave The Rock, and he donated some to the charity hospitals and stuff?
The Rock, did phenomenal. That took me back because he was the one that introduced the Xbox to begin with.
Yeah,
you know, with Bill Gates, who you know, donating $100 million for Alzheimer research and stuff. Like, good guy. You know what I mean? So absolutely fantastic stuff, and fantastic show tonight, guys. I actually pretty much am out of topics. We had everything. So. Or everything. Oh, PlayStation multiplayer is free today until November 20th. Mooch, what do you think about that? Desperation?
I read about it in Big Whoop magazine.
What's got Desperation? PlayStation what?
PlayStation multiplayer is free from today until November 20th. So for 5 days.
Yeah, enjoy Killzone, folks.
Nobody's on Killzone. Here's funny, like that like 2 months after Killzone launched, there was more people on Call of Duty Black Ops 2 on Wii U multiplayer than there was on Killzone. Yeah, that's a fact. Like there was articles with it. I think I did a video about it because I thought it was funny as hell. So yeah, think about that.
For 5 days, you get the same value as people on PS3 when it comes to PSN.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll probably be down by the time anybody actually gets it connected.
People act like you're crazy when you talk about this stuff, but you can literally look up all of the outages and how many times it goes down every month. I mean, these people act like people are delusional, but these are just facts, man. It's not consistent.
Yeah, it's not. It's funny as hell. And with that, we're gonna close out the show. We're gonna do some outros because Mooch is gonna send me a damn GIF here any minute anyway, and I'm gonna be like,
"You beat me to it, bro."
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So, Mooch, what do you got going on? I know you got Crossfire, which last week's Crossfire was damn good.
Really great show. Really great show. We're going to have another good one. I'm going to hit, of course, we're going to talk about some of the things that we did discuss tonight. There's a couple of topics that I really want to bring up. A lot of things that go on in podcasting, in the gamer network that we all live in and kind of enjoy on these shows. I want to get the panel's opinion on them. And then I got great MNC mornings planned for Sunday morning. I believe it's on my channel this week. No, it might be yours this week. Crap, I can't remember. But we did a couple of evening shows, so I can't remember.
Because we did MNC evenings on yours with the giveaway, because we gave away an Xbox One X.
Yes, we did. Great giveaway.
Scorpio edition. So
absolutely. So that was really cool. And I just want to wish I'd like to wish the Happy Birthday song a happy birthday. And I'd also like to wish ground beef a happy birthday and sandwich bags. Yes, anything else? That's fine. Thank you.
Yeah, that
happy birthday to everybody.
Yes, happy birthday. And Dealer, what do you got going on, bro?
Yeah, it was a good show, man. We did RDX podcast last night. Pretty crazy show. Check that out. It's the last video on the channel. I also did something regarding Wolfenstein as well, which is one of my most recent videos as well. And like I said, we'll not be here next week. I'm going to be out of state. I won't even have RDX next week. So I'll probably do another video for the end of the week talking about that. But yeah, thanks once again for having me on, and it's a good show.
No problem. Welcome back, man. And Hellhammer, what do you got going on?
Not too much. I'll be back on here next week. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter at XXHellhammer or on Xbox Live, XX_Hellhammer.
Hell yeah. And Noof Nukem. Hey, what's up, Noof Nukem here? Well, gonna give him a shout out.
Finally dropped the turd. It's gone. There you go.
What's going on, Noof?
Oh, man. No, it's a great show as always, guys. Everybody in the chat, thanks for hanging out with us. You people make it what it is. You rock. I appreciate that. Again, crap. The whole panel. You guys are awesome. Thanks for having me here week in, week out. I always love Xbox Nation. It is where it is at. So, yeah, I'll be back here again next week. And you can catch me, guys, now on Monday nights with Attack the Glitcher, the Power Podcast. I'm over there. I do believe it's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're trying to catch me, because, yeah, if you didn't know by now, I have left the console corner. It was just a decision I had to make. So I'll miss those guys. But, yeah, it's just on to different things.
Yeah, I hear you, dude. I'm sure that must have been a tough thing, but you guys are all still family and stuff, and that's always important as well.
Absolutely.
And make sure you guys hit that like button. And thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you Friday on Crossfire.
Happy birthday, everybody!
Yeah, happy birthday, Xbox.
Wish somebody happy birthday.